due to the formidable energy field. It's moving. Look! A voice from the crowd exclaimed in awe. The steel giant began to roll forward, inch by inch, under the pull of the Universal Ant. With a creaking sound, the Universal Ant's body sank slightly as its four tires gripped the ground, the immense torque causing fine cracks to appear beneath. Lift it, Yi-Bai commanded, instantly amplifying the power. The electric hum surged dramatically. The nano cables tightened, their blue arcs glowing even more brilliantly, under the astonished gazes of all. The colossal machine finally broke free from the shackles of static friction, being dragged forcefully by the Universal Ant. Though its pace was slow, it was undeniably in motion. And with increasing steadiness, Zhang Jianya stared blankly at this scene that defied the laws of physics, feeling as though his worldview had been utterly shattered. Zhang Defa gaped, unable to close his mouth. Yi-Bai's voice resonated once more. In fact, this is not the vehicle's limit. It can actually accommodate an additional 30 Pioneer V trailers. As those words fell, the atmosphere was instantly blanketed in silence. Everyone was struck dumb by this more outrageous figure, gasping in disbelief. 30 vehicles? This was no longer just a tow, it was a land cruiser. Just as the crowd remained immersed in unparalleled shock, Jiang Chuqiang suddenly scoffed and stepped forward. Anyone can boast. Pulling 3 is already the limit, and you expect to tow 30? You're clearly exaggerating because no one can verify your claims right now to inflate your own ego. He believed he had finally found a chink in Yi-Bai's armor. Yi-Bai merely shot him a glance, as if looking at a fool. This person's thought process was truly peculiar. Ignoring Jiang Chuqiang, he directly addressed the now petrified Zhang Defa. Mr. Zhang, could you please bring the remaining 27 Pioneer V trailers along with 3 other random vehicles, and connect them one by one using connecting rods? At this point, Zhang Defa had completely lost his temper. He too wished to witness the true limits of this vehicle. He nodded in affirmation and personally went to direct the logistics. Soon, 30 heavy vehicles were lined up in a magnificent procession, a truly spectacular sight. The viewers in the live stream were utterly exhilarated. However, just as the Universal Ant was about to commence connecting these 30 vehicles, Zhang Jianya's phone suddenly rang urgently from his pocket. Upon answering, his expression changed dramatically. What? A flash flood. The main traffic artery is blocked. After hanging up, he urgently informed everyone. Something has happened. The torrential rain caused by the typhoon has triggered flash floods in the mountainous areas, resulting in severe traffic congestion and accidents on the main freight route in the western suburbs. That route is crucial for several large construction sites. And now hundreds of cement mixers and heavy earth-moving vehicles are stuck on the road. Traffic is completely paralyzed. Li Min was equally alarmed. Quick! Send the tow trucks to clear the way. Zhang Jianya's voice carried a hint of desperation. There's only a small traffic police unit in the suburbs with a few old tow trucks, which are entirely insufficient. Our dispatch tow truck team is also stuck halfway and cannot get through. Mr. Zhang. Zhang Jianya turned to Zhang Defa, grasping at the last straw. Can your 30 new vehicles be deployed immediately for assistance? Absolutely. Zhang Defa was unhesitating in the face of crisis. With a decisive wave of his hand, he shouted to his staff, everyone, stop dawdling. Get in the vehicles and form a convoy with me to the western suburbs for disaster relief. Yes. The employees of Yutong responded in unison, and in an instant, the roar of engines reverberated throughout the factory. Observing the swiftly assembled steel convoy set to head into the fray, both Zhang Jianya and Li Min wore expressions of approval. At that moment, Zhao Wenqi approached Yi-Bai, who stood calmly beside the Universal Ant. Did you see that, Mr. Yi? In a true moment of crisis, it's still the strength and foundation of large enterprises that prevail. 30 vehicles? Just like that, they can be dispatched. That's responsibility. His implication was clear. No matter how excellent your solitary vehicle may be, it pales in comparison to the scale of a large-scale disaster. Yi-Bai merely cast a faint glance at him. Generally, it is those at the bottom of the food chain who rely on sheer numbers to succeed. However, for a top-tier establishment like our Yunshao Auto Repair Factory, often just one vehicle suffices. Ha! Zhao Wenqi laughed as if he had heard the best joke of the century. After his laughter subsided, he composed himself, eyeing Yi-Bai with a hint of amusement. Stepping closer, he lowered his voice so only the two could hear. Articulating each word deliberately, I'm curious about your family background. What gives you the audacity to speak so boldly? An ordinary family. Those 2 words struck Zhao Wenqi as the best answer. He took a step closer to Yi-Bai. My father, Zhao Tai, is the deputy mayor of Jinling City. My uncle, Zhao Wujiu, is the commanding officer of an active-duty special operations brigade. And I am the founder and owner of Wenya Media, with a net worth exceeding 100 million. Little brother, when it comes to competing for women, You're a bit too inexperienced. Chapter 231. My uncle must be coming to deal with Yi Bai. In the face of Zhao Wenqi's menacing words, Yi Bai remained unflinching, his expression betraying no hint of concern. He simply regarded Zhao Wenqi with the gaze one might reserve for a simpleton, replying coolly, "Who said I was competing with you for women? Perhaps you're just being overly presumptuous. Stop pretending." Zhao Wenqi's face darkened. He despised Yi Bai's nonchalant demeanor, as if he had everything under control. "You have gone to great lengths to approach Jiang Chumo, driven solely by her beauty and the prestigious lineage she represents. Your intentions are nothing but a pursuit of wealth and women." He extended a finger, waving it mockingly before Yi Bai, his tone steeped in condescension. "I can offer you all of this, 1 million in cash if you leave Jiang Chumo. Furthermore, you may choose any one of the 10 most popular female hosts from my media company. I assure you she will be in your bed tonight. What do you say? This deal is a tremendous bargain for you." Upon hearing this, Yi Bai could no longer suppress a laugh, filled with derision. "You think you are worthy to negotiate with me?" A simple statement, yet it struck Zhao Wenqi like a resounding slap across the face. "You." Zhao Wenqi's temper flared instantly. His handsome features contorted with rage. "I offer you an opportunity, yet you squander it. Do you have any idea how many people would beg on their knees for a chance like this? My offer is already a grand concession, showing you considerable respect. Our boss casually changes cars worth tens of millions. Do you really think he cares about your meager 1 million? At that moment, Sun Ling could no longer hold her tongue and interjected. She puffed out her ample chest, resembling a hen guarding its chicks, positioning herself protectively behind Yi Bai. Zhao Wenqi scoffed disdainfully, ready to continue his mockery when a gentle voice floated over from nearby. "Yi Bai, what are you discussing?" Jiang Chumo approached with a smile, seemingly oblivious to the tense atmosphere. She naturally took her place beside Yi Bai, affectionately wrapping her arms around his, resting her head gently on his shoulder. "I heard there was an incident in the western suburbs. Should we go take a look?" She tilted her head, her eyes questioning as she gazed at Yi Bai. This scene struck Zhao Wenqi like a thunderclap. His eyes nearly bulged from their sockets, his mind going blank. Wasn't this the intimate behavior reserved for couples? How could it be so natural, so affectionate? An indescribable jealousy surged violently within Zhao Wenqi. Feeling the softness of her touch on his arm, Yi Bai's heart stirred slightly. He glanced at the heavy clouds on the horizon and recalled the outstanding payment yet to be received, nodding at Jiang Chumo. "Very well. After all, Secretary Zhang has yet to conduct the formal acceptance, and the final payment remains unsettled. If we can lend a hand and perfectly conclude this business deal, that would indeed be ideal." With that, he led Jiang Chumo and Sun Ling into the cockpit of the Universal Ant. As he watched the black platform vehicle slowly pull away, carrying his beloved goddess and that insufferable pretty boy, Zhao Wenqi felt a surge of panic. Alarm bells rang in his mind. If these two were indeed together, and if Yi Bai remained unyielding, what if, just what if, they achieved a harmonious union tonight? The thought made Zhao Wenqi's insides churn with regret. Just as Zhao Wenqi simmered with jealousy, a military vehicle bearing special license plates roared past him with a commanding presence. Coming to a sudden halt right where Yi Bai's Universal Ant had been, the door swung open, and a stout officer in crisp military attire, bearing the rank of colonel, leaped from the vehicle. His robust physique, resolute countenance, and piercing gaze conveyed the aura of a battle-hardened warrior. Zhao Wenqi focused intently, his excitement reaching a fever pitch. "Uncle!" he exclaimed in surprise, rushing forward. The arrival was none other than his second uncle, Zhao Wuju, the commander of the Special Operations Brigade. Upon seeing his nephew, Zhao Wuju's sharp eyes revealed a hint of surprise. "Wenqi, what brings you here?" "Uncle, I accompanied a friend to observe a study at Yutong," Zhao Wenqi quickly replied. Then feigned casual annoyance. There was a competition going on, and a particularly arrogant young man was flaunting himself. Zhao Wuju's brow furrowed slightly, as if he had pieced something together. "Is this young man named Yi Bai?" Zhao Wenqi was taken aback. "How do you know?" Zhao Wuju's expression turned grave as he scanned the vacant area, urgency evident in his voice. "Where is he?" "He is the one I need to find." Seeing his uncle's serious demeanor, even tinged with urgency, Zhao Wenqi's heart raced with excitement. He quickly envisioned a dramatic scenario. That fellow Yi Bai must have committed some grave offense, possibly even involving military secrets, prompting his high-ranking uncle to personally apprehend him. With this thought, Zhao Wenqi trembled with exhilaration, sensing an opportunity for glory. I know where he went." He eagerly pointed in the direction Yi Bai had departed. "He left not long ago, heading to the accident site in the western suburbs. Uncle, let me take you to catch him." "All right, get in." Zhao Wuju wasted no time. Flinging open the car door, and signaling for Zhao Wenqi to hop in. Zhao Wenqi, brimming with excitement, leaped into the military vehicle without hesitation. He could already envision Yi Bai, that arrogant pretty boy, trembling in fear before his uncle, handcuffed and led away in disgrace. Yi Bai, your end is nigh. Meanwhile, Jiang Chumo observed the entire exchange, her heart filled with mixed emotions. Watching the military vehicle disappear from sight, she couldn't help but silently admire the Zhao family's influence. Such depth and power were truly formidable. With a mere phone call, a sitting brigade commander could be mobilized. Just looking at Zhao Wuju's iron-willed demeanor made it clear he was no ordinary man. And what of Yi Bai? Merely a young man skilled in modification techniques. How could he possibly compete with such a vast family legacy? Jiang Chumo shook her head, increasingly disapproving of her sister's choice. Chapter 232, The Fury of 1,000 Pounds. This is the contemporary Little Tyrant. Meanwhile, the accident site in the western suburbs of Deep City lay in utter disarray. The broad freight thoroughfare was submerged in murky water, with dozens of heavy trucks laden with cement, steel bars, and debris, haphazardly stuck in the mud, completely blocking the road. When Zhang Jianya arrived on the scene in the command vehicle, District Chief Li Bo, clad in a raincoat and muddy boots, approached with a worried expression. Secretary Zhang, look at this. The flood came so suddenly. The entire road is ruined. These heavy trucks, each weighing dozens to hundreds of tons, are stuck in the mud and cannot move at all. The rescue vehicles we arranged are also stuck and broken down. Zhang Jianya surveyed the chaotic scene, knowing this was beyond human capability. This is not your fault. It is an act of nature. I have already brought in the rescue forces. As soon as he finished speaking, the powerful roar of engines echoed from afar. Zhang Defa's fleet of 30 brand-new Pioneer Versus had finally overcome all obstacles and arrived at the site. Zhang, it's your turn to shine. Zhang Jianya called out to Zhang Defa, who had just disembarked. Rest assured, Secretary Zhang. Zhang Defa replied confidently, waving his hand to direct his fleet to commence rescue operations. The performance of the Pioneer V was indeed exceptional. In the face of those less entrenched private cars and small trucks, they were almost effortlessly retrieved. With the steel cable secured and the accelerator pressed, one vehicle after another was efficiently dragged from the mire. Cheers erupted at the scene, with everyone praising the towing prowess of Yutong. Zhang Defa wore a proud smile. However, as they endeavored to tow the truly massive vehicles, difficulties arose. A concrete mixer, laden with wet cement, had its wheels completely ensnared at the edge of a vast pit created by floodwaters, its body dangerously tilted, threatening to topple at any moment. Lift it. Bring it up. Zhang Defa commanded personally. 12 Pioneer V vehicles lined up, all attaching their steel cables to the mixer. 1, 2, 3, pull. With the thunderous roar of 12 engines simultaneously revving, the mixer, weighing several tons, was gradually pulled from the brink of the pit. Well done. Thunderous applause erupted once more. But at that moment, disaster struck. A gust of wind, fierce and laden with rain, howled from the valley. The mixer, just hoisted up but precariously balanced, was suddenly thrown off kilter by the wind. Its massive body lurched downward, sliding back toward the pit. This time, the force generated was several times greater. Not good. Release the hook. Zhang Defa shouted in terror. But it was too late. The first Pioneer V, positioned at the front, could not withstand even a second before being dragged into the pit. Then came the second, the third. In a cacophony of gasps, those 12 brand-new police tow trucks, which had just showcased their might, were pulled into the mud-filled pit one after another, as if they were dumplings. Zhang Defa's heart sank. Quick, save them. The remaining 18 Pioneer V vehicles rushed forward, attempting to retrieve their fallen comrades. However, the soil at the edge of the pit was already loose and had borne too much weight from earlier efforts. Tragedy struck once more. With a resounding crash, the earth at the pit's edge collapsed. The remaining 18 tow trucks, like blocks deprived of their foundation, slid into the abyss one by one. In mere minutes, 30 brand-new heavy-duty tow trucks were lost. Zhang Defa stared blankly at the vast pit, his legs giving way as he collapsed into the muddy water. It's over. It's all over. What should we do now, Secretary Zhang? District Chief Li Bo inquired anxiously. Zhang Jianya's lips moved, yet no words escaped. At that moment, the usually silent Director Li Min hesitantly spoke up. Secretary Zhang, why not let Yi Bai's vehicle give it a try? The suggestion jolted everyone awake. At this point, they had no choice but to try anything. Zhang Jianya nodded slowly, preparing to have Li Min contact Yi Bai, only to notice a sleek, futuristic platform vehicle had quietly appeared nearby. Yi Bai emerged from the cabin, followed by Jiang Chumo and Sun Ling. After surveying the scene's devastation, he said nothing superfluous. merely nodding calmly at Zhang Jianye. Comrade Yi Bai, I entrust this to you. Zhang Jianye's voice trembled slightly. Yi Bai responded not with words, but with action. He directed the remaining workers to remove all high-strength nanocables from the universal ant. The cables were then meticulously affixed to the trucks and the fallen tow trucks one by one. Yi Bai issued the command. The workers sprang into action, threading the shimmering metallic cables like needles through the dozens of vehicles in and around the pit, ultimately converging all cables at the rear of the universal ant. Watching this astonishing scene, a flicker of hope ignited in Zhang Jianye's heart, yet doubt loomed large. While he acknowledged the formidable towing power of Yi Bai's vehicle, its capacity was still limited. After all, they were dealing with 30 heavy tow trucks and a dozen 100-ton trucks trapped in the mud. The combined weight must reach over 1,000 tons. How could a single small platform vehicle possibly extract them all? As the crowd gazed on in bewilderment, Yi Bai returned to the cabin. He cranked the power of the superconducting electromagnetic winch array to a staggering 100. A deafening buzz erupted from the universal ant, as if it could tear through the air. The vehicle slowly descended, its four specially designed tires embedding deeply into the firm ground. Lift. Miraculously, before the watchful eyes of all, the scene unfolded. The mixer, ensnared deepest in the mud, was pulled from the mire by an irresistible force. Then came the second. The third. The 30 stacked Pioneer V trucks were lifted in unison, as if by an invisible giant hand, orderly extracted from the pit. Meanwhile, those heavy trucks mired in the roadway's mire were also uprooted effortlessly, dragged back to solid ground. Secretary Zhang, why do you bow your proud head? District Chief Li Bo marveled at the cleared roadway and the neatly arranged rescued vehicles, his excitement rendering him tongue-tied. Director Li Min, equally moved, patted the still-shocked Zhang Jianye on the shoulder. Secretary Zhang, did you see? At the critical moment, it was still thanks to Comrade Yi Bai. One vehicle can match 100. Zhang Jianye, however, shook his head slowly. He gazed intently at the universal ant, quietly parked in the rain. Then at the still numerous but beleaguered Pioneer Versus, and the Yutong employees diligently assisting one another in clearing the vehicles. No, Laoli, you are mistaken. Zhang Jianye's voice was hoarse yet resolute. Comrade Yi Bai's vehicle is an atomic bomb, the ultimate weapon determining the course of battle, irreplaceable. But these 30 vehicles, representing the entire Yutong group, are the vast ocean of the people's war. They may not create miracles, but they can swiftly and systematically address the myriad conventional issues that arise after a miracle occurs. Both are indispensable forces in our fight against disaster. Upon hearing this, Li Min was momentarily stunned, a wave of profound admiration washing over him. How impressive, truly impressive. He finally understood why Zhang Jianye could serve as the mayor's secretary while he remained a mere director. Yi Bai, you are extraordinary, Jiang Chumo exclaimed. Witnessing the miraculous rescue unfold before her, her beautiful eyes sparkling with awe, unable to contain her excitement and admiration any longer. She opened her arms and embraced Yi Bai tightly. Just then, a military off-road vehicle arrived at the scene. Zhao Wenqi, just stepping out, caught sight of the two embracing not far away. This scene pierced his heart like a dagger. Enraged, his eyes turned red, fists clenched tightly, yet he felt powerless. Surely he couldn't rush over in front of so many people and separate them. Uncle, that person, the one embracing Chumo, is Yi Bai? Zhao Wenqi seethed, pointing at Yi Bai, addressing Zhao Wuju beside him. Zhao Wuju followed the direction indicated, and upon seeing Yi Bai's youthful and composed face, a brilliant light erupted in his eyes. It is him. Zhao Wuju's voice trembled slightly with excitement. Ignoring his nephew beside him, he took large strides, nearly sprinting towards Yi Bai. Zhang Jianye, preparing to greet this unexpectedly arrived high-ranking military leader, was completely disregarded by Zhao Wuju. He gazed in shock at Zhao Wuju's shoulder insignia indicating his rank as a colonel brigade commander. Realizing the immense authority he held, far surpassing that of his own humble position as a mayor's secretary, the thought of having previously obstructed Yi Bai filled him with a cold sweat. When Zhao Wenqi assumed that Zhao Wuju intended to confront Yi Bai, an even more astonishing spectacle unfolded. Zhao Wuju suddenly halted 3 steps away from Yi Bai, brought his feet together, raised his right hand, and rendered an impeccably standard and solemn military salute. Comrade Yi Bai, I am Colonel Zhao Wuju, Brigade Commander of the Southern Theater Special Operations Brigade, reporting for duty. There is an urgent matter I must report. His voice boomed, resonating throughout the venue. Once more, silence enveloped the crowd. Zhao Wenqi was utterly taken aback. He stood frozen, his mind a blank. What on earth is happening? Wasn't my uncle here to cause trouble? Why is he saluting that young man? Moreover, he used terms like reporting for duty and reporting, which are only used by subordinates towards their superiors. Uncle, what is going on? Zhao Wenqi stammered, feeling his worldview shatter in that moment. Zhao Wuju's expression remained unchanged in response to his nephew's bewildered inquiry. Military secrets cannot be disclosed. These 8 words struck Zhao Wenqi's heart like heavy hammers. Zhao Wuju ignored his nephew, turned to Yi Bai, and gestured respectfully. Lieutenant Yi, may I have a word? Lieutenant Yi. When these 3 words were clearly articulated by an active duty brigade commander, everyone present, including Zhang Jianye, Li Min, and Jiang Chuqiang, was flabbergasted. Lieutenant. They stared incredulously at Yi Bai's remarkably youthful face. He appeared to be no more than 18 or 19 years old, yet he held the rank of lieutenant? How could this be? An exclamation erupted from the crowd, igniting the shock within everyone. Zhao Wenqi felt as if struck by lightning, leaving him utterly numb. Everything he took pride in paled in comparison at that moment. He was a boss, wealthy and well-connected, but what did that matter? In the face of military rank, before a figure whom even a brigade commander must salute, his so-called advantages seemed laughable. It's all over. Zhao Wenqi felt the world spinning around him. Zhao Wuju invited Yi Bai to the military vehicle, retrieving a sealed brown paper bag from within, which he solemnly handed to Yi Bai. Lieutenant Yi, this is the complete technical data regarding the ZBD anti-tank infantry fighting vehicle that General Long asked me to convey to you. It is of the highest classification. Yi Bai accepted the file, gauging its weight, and nodded. Please inform General Long that I have received the materials. I will personally visit the military factory in a week to begin working on the modification plans. Yes, I will certainly convey your message. Zhao Wuju saluted again and only turned to leave after receiving Yi Bai's gesture, swiftly departing from the scene. As Yi Bai returned to the group with the file in hand, he immediately sensed a monumental shift in the atmosphere. The previously indifferent mayor's secretary, Zhang Jianye, now approached him with a beaming smile, practically glowing with enthusiasm, his demeanor warmer than that of a long-lost father. Ah, Lieutenant Yi, what an impressive young man you are. Truly remarkable. Zhang Jianye grasped Yi Bai's hand tightly, shaking it vigorously with admiration. This vehicle of yours is simply astonishing. If it weren't for your timely intervention today, the consequences would have been dire. On behalf of Deep City, I officially accept this vehicle. A pleasure to cooperate. A pleasure indeed. No, one vehicle is not enough. Deep City wishes to place another order with you. Price is not an issue. We want to order one more. Yi Bai observed the dramatic transformation in Zhang Jianye's attitude and couldn't help but chuckle inwardly. He distinctly remembered just hours ago. This man had looked down upon him with disdainful arrogance. Pulling his hand away nonchalantly, Yi Bai regarded Zhang Jianye with a sly smile. Actually, Secretary Zhang, I find your previous demeanor far more commendable than your current one. Zhang Jianye's smile instantly froze. Ha! Lieutenant Yi, you truly have a sense of humor. He awkwardly laughed, wiping the cold sweat from his forehead. Yi Bai chose not to press further. After all, one does not strike a smiling face. Secretary Zhang, we can discuss the next order another time. For the foreseeable future, I must devote my efforts to a military project and will not have the bandwidth for new orders. Understood, understood. Military matters take precedence. Zhang Jianye promptly expressed his comprehension. Immediately transfer the remaining payment of 10,050,000 to the account designated by Lieutenant Yi. With matters resolved, Zhang Jianye and the others made a hasty exit, warmly bidding farewell to Yi Bai. Only Yi Bai and his companions remained, along with the ashen-faced Zhang Defa and Zhao Wenqi. Zhang Defa, suddenly jolted, forced a smile that resembled a grimace as he hurried over, bowing deeply. Lieutenant Yi, I must apologize. Today, I failed to recognize your stature and spoke indiscreetly. Please do not hold it against me. He lamented internally. Had Yi Bai merely been an ordinary individual with some technical skill, he might have dared to dispute the 3 million worth of equipment. But now, facing a lieutenant with a brigade commander backing him, such an endeavor was out of the question. Zhang, do you remember our wager? Yi Bai inquired coolly. Of course. I remember. Zhang Defa nodded repeatedly, his heart bleeding. The high-precision equipment they had imported at great cost amounted to 300 million. Although only a portion was being sent, it was still a core component of significant value. Gritting his teeth, he reluctantly conceded, Lieutenant Yi, rest assured. Within a week, I will personally ensure that the equipment is delivered intact to your auto repair shop in Huadu. No need to send it to Huadu. Just deliver it directly to this address. Yi Bai waved dismissively, providing an address located in the outskirts of the capital. Upon hearing the words the capital, Zhang Defa's pupils dilated in shock. Securing land in the capital, especially in such a prized location, implied connections that transcended mere military background. This indicated that Yi Bai possessed profound ties within official circles, particularly in the power center of the capital. In that moment, Zhang Defa regretted poking the bear. After concluding matters with Zhang Defa, Yi Bai was ready to depart when Zhao Wenqi, who had been standing in a daze, finally mustered the courage to approach. Taking a deep breath, he bowed deeply to Yi Bai, lowering himself to an extreme. Lieutenant Yi, I apologize. I previously underestimated you and spoke thoughtlessly. I sincerely beg your forgiveness. I hope you can forgive me and refrain from engaging with me on the same level. However, Yi Bai merely cast a cold glance in his direction. There is no need for you to apologize, is there? We are not related. This statement severed Zhao Wenqi's every illusion. The implication was unmistakable. I do not accept your apology, nor do I wish to be associated with you. Zhao Wenqi's complexion turned ashen in an instant. He had not anticipated that, despite his subservient demeanor, the other party would still refuse to extend him even a modicum of grace. Yet, gazing into Yi Bai's calm and indifferent eyes, he felt an overwhelming sense of helplessness. There was nothing he could do. Ultimately, Zhao Wenqi could only cast a pleading glance towards Jiang Chuqiang beside him. Jiang Chuqiang felt a bitter pang in his heart. Just a few hours prior, he had viewed Yi Bai as nothing more than a pretty face with no real ability. Yet, in the blink of an eye, the man had transformed into a military captain deserving of respect from even active-duty brigade commanders. Gritting his teeth, he stepped forward and forced a stiff smile. Captain Yi, regarding today's incident, it was indeed our failure to recognize your stature. Look, it's getting dark. Allow me to treat you and Momo to a meal. As an apology. No need. Yi Bai decisively declined, barely casting another glance at Jiang Chuqiang before turning to leave with Jiang Chumo and Sun Lingyang. Upon returning to the Yunshao Auto Repair Factory, the sky had completely darkened. After bidding a reluctant farewell to Jiang Chumo, Yi Bai finally found a moment of tranquility. He immersed himself in the system, and upon seeing the staggering balance of his shock value, a smile flickered across his face. Current shock value, 28 million. The recent rescue operation, coupled with the immense buzz generated by the live broadcast, had caused his shock value to skyrocket. Although 28 million was still insufficient for upgrading the anti-tank infantry fighting vehicle, it was indeed a significant step forward, Yi Bai mused. At that moment, another system notification caught his attention. Ding! The project for the new firefighting battlesuit has completed independent research and development. Excellent. Yi Bai felt invigorated and promptly chose to export all technical data. In an instant, a wealth of information regarding special nanomaterials, heat absorption coatings, and ergonomic designs flooded his mind. He transmitted a well-organized production plan and patent application documents to his computer, turning to Sun Ling beside him. Linger, please take this document to the legal department and have them apply for a global patent immediately, while also contacting our cooperative factory to prepare for production. However, Sun Ling did not immediately acquiesce as she usually would. Can it wait until tomorrow? Yi Bai turned, curious, and noticed that Sun Ling had, at some point, elegantly twisted her lustrous black hair into an intricate bun, exposing her fair, slender neck. On her already enchanting face, there was now a hint of lingering resentment and a different allure. Recognizing the significance of her gesture, Yi Bai understood instantly. Jiang Chumo had affectionately clung to his arm in front of so many people today. It was likely that this little one was feeling jealous. Nevertheless, it was quite delightful. Yi Bai smiled knowingly, choosing not to say more as he moved to the sofa, reclining comfortably. Very well, let it be as you wish. Sun Ling's cheeks flushed instantly, and she shyly nodded before taking small, hesitant steps toward him. However, just as the atmosphere was about to grow more intimate, a figure appeared suddenly at the doorway of the living room. It was Zhang Hongying. She seemed to have heard the commotion outside and wandered out, only to stumble upon the scene before her. Seeing Yi Bai languidly sprawled on the sofa, while Sun Ling leaned down with a flushed face, Zhang Hongying's face turned crimson. She resembled a startled little rabbit, standing frozen in place, unsure of what to do. Yi Bai noticed her as well. He felt a surge of desire to invite her over, but reconsidered. Now was not the appropriate moment. In that brief moment of hesitation, Zhang Hongying, seeing that Yi Bai remained silent, ultimately said nothing and quietly turned away, retreating hastily to her room. The next morning, Yi Bai awoke refreshed, rising from the sofa to glance at the still sleeping Sun Ling beside him. At that moment, she resembled a languid kitten, curled up in the blanket. With glistening droplets clinging to her long eyelashes, the corners of her mouth slightly upturned as if lost in a beautiful dream. However, it was likely she would not utter many coherent words throughout the day. Yi Bai chuckled softly, tenderly covering her with the blanket. Before rising to immerse himself in his new work, he dialed the number for the Tianjin Fire Department. directly reaching the factory director, Luo Yichin. Director Luo, I have a set of technical data for a new firefighting battlesuit and wish to collaborate on its production. Upon receiving the design drawings and technical parameters sent via encrypted email, Director Luo was so astonished that he leapt from his chair. Captain Yi, this is not merely a firefighting suit. This is essentially a lightweight exoskeleton armor. Director Luo exclaimed, his voice trembling with excitement as he examined the designs on the screen. Active heat dissipation, high-strength protection, built-in life support system. My heavens! If this can be mass-produced, the casualty rate among our firefighters could be reduced by at least 90%. The more he looked, the more exhilarated he became, and he bashfully addressed Yi Bai. Captain Yi, this design is already exceptionally perfect. However, our factory has recently made some minor innovations. Would it be possible to make a few small modifications based on this suit? I assure you, the finished product will absolutely meet your satisfaction. Oh, Yi Bai's interest was piqued. What new ideas do you have? Director Luo grinned, playfully withholding his thoughts. For now, it's a secret. Captain Yi, give us 3 days. After that, you can see the finished product? All right, I shall await it with anticipation. Yi Bai readily agreed. As soon as he hung up the phone, a familiar engine sound approached. A brand new Wuling Hongguang Mini stopped at the entrance of the auto repair shop. And Jiang Chumo stepped out of the vehicle. I've brought the car for you, she said with a smile, handing Yi Bai the keys. Now it's yours. Yi Bai accepted the keys. Are there any specific requirements? Jiang Chumo pondered for a moment. Nothing too demanding. Just ensure it has a standout feature that can instantly capture everyone's attention. A standout feature? Yi Bai stroked his chin, beginning to contemplate. For a national treasure like the Wuling Mini, what kind of modification could be deemed truly spectacular? Supercar performance? Luxurious interior? Too conventional. Suddenly, a mischievous idea flashed through his mind. I've got it. For the Mini, the most eye-catching feature must be the legendary chopped chili fish head that is both fierce and resilient. He plunged into the system and issued the command. Ding! The directive has been received and the simulation completed. The modification plan has been generated. The strongest armed chopped chili fish head on Earth. This plan is expected to consume shock value. 13 million. Yi Bai immediately began reviewing the components of the plan. In addition to the customary enhancements for power and defense, there were 2 core modules. One was a high-energy laser cutting matrix that could form an invincible fish head force field composed of numerous high-energy laser beams at the front of the vehicle. Another aspect is the all-terrain violent suspension system, which endows this small vehicle with the ramming and off-road capabilities comparable to those of a heavy armored vehicle. After confirming the plan, Yi Bai did not immediately commence the modifications. Instead, he immersed his consciousness in the Phase 2 laboratory. He activated the reverse engineering analysis function, targeting the ZBD anti-tank infantry fighting vehicle's technical documentation. Beep. Command received. Reverse analysis in progress. Analysis complete. Target successfully replicated in the laboratory. In the center of the lab, a virtual model of the ZBD, indistinguishable from the documentation, materialized out of thin air. This feature was astonishing, Yi Bai mused. If he could acquire all of the current main battle weaponry from the U.S. and reverse engineer them, with such an accomplishment, it was not beyond the realm of possibility for him to be promoted beyond the rank of Major General. It seemed that he must find a way to attend any upcoming international military exhibitions to see if he could bring back some valuable items. After conducting preliminary analysis and conceptual design for the ZBD infantry fighting vehicle in the Phase 2 laboratory, Yi Bai dedicated all his energy to the modification of the spicy fish head. After 2 full days and nights of relentless effort, the once unremarkable Wuling Hongguang Mini finally underwent a remarkable transformation. Once the final module was installed, Yi Bai focused his thoughts and submitted this brand new creation to the system. Beep. Detected that the host has completed a D-level modification project. The strongest armed spicy fish head on the surface. Beep. Detected that the host has accumulated modification projects. System upgrade progress has reached 710. Beep. Congratulations to the host for completing a D-level modification. Reward. Free attribute points x5. Beep. Congratulations to the host. System upgrade progress has surpassed half. Special reward item. Young girl's joyful drink x1. A series of system notifications resonated in Yi Bai's mind, invigorating him. Without hesitation, he allocated all 5 free attribute points to his physique. Instantly, a powerful wave of warmth coursed through his limbs, dispelling the fatigue of recent days. Subsequently, his attention was drawn to the newly acquired item. Item name. Young girl's joyful drink item effect. Appears identical to ordinary cola. Upon consumption by a young girl, It swiftly eliminates physical fatigue and restores all stamina and energy. Simultaneously, the sensory experiences of taste and touch during eating activities will be greatly enhanced, providing a more delightful experience. Special note: as a food item, the sensation of pleasure will be increased by more than threefold. Upon reading the final special note, Yi Bai felt a surge of exhilaration rush to his head, nearly causing him to bleed from his nose. The system truly understood him. Just as he was overwhelmed with excitement, the sound of clattering high heels approached. It was Jiang Chumo. Yi Bai hurriedly retrieved the bottle of young girl's joyful drink from the system space and discreetly placed it on the coffee table. The packaging of the drink was identical to that of standard bottled cola, making it nearly impossible to discern any discrepancies upon a cursory glance. Yi Bai, is my car ready? Jiang Chumo entered, filled with anticipation. When her gaze fell upon the brand-new Wuling Mini in the center of the workshop, she was left speechless. The formerly rounded front of the car had been outfitted with an intricate geometric structure composed of countless microprisms and metal scales, artfully combined to form a visually striking fish head silhouette. Is this the highlight you mentioned? Jiang Chumo's astonishment grew with each glance, and the more she looked, the more she liked it. Oh my, this is incredibly cool. Just taking this car out will draw everyone's attention without any effort. The appearance was merely an appetizer. Yi Bai smiled, opened the car door, and gestured for Jiang Chumo to enter. The real surprise lies within. Once Jiang Chumo settled into the driver's seat, she was immediately captivated by the scene before her. Start. With Yi Bai's command, the virtual dashboard illuminated instantly, displaying a dazzling array of data on the screen. Power system: 4-wheel independent permanent magnet synchronous motors, peak horsepower 1,200, peak torque 2,400 Newton meters, acceleration from 0 to 100 km/h 19 seconds, top speed 450 km per hour. Jiang Chumo gasped at the terrifying data displayed before her. In recent days, she had diligently studied automotive knowledge to better oversee the mini-series business, and she was no longer the clueless novice she once was. A Wuling Hongguang Mini accelerating to 100 km/h in under 2 seconds. Its top speed even surpassed that of most high-end supercars. This was no mere modification. This was akin to reconstructing an entirely new vehicle. Jiang Chumo marveled. Her understanding of Yi Bai's prowess solidified, recognizing his status in the realm of modifications as almost divine. As they stepped out of the vehicle, Jiang Chumo remained enveloped in profound astonishment, feeling somewhat parched. Her eyes landed on the unopened bottle of cola on the table, and without hesitation, she picked it up, twisted off the cap, and took a hearty sip. Wow, this cola is absolutely delightful. It's better than any drink I've ever tasted, Jiang Chumo exclaimed, her eyes narrowing in satisfaction. Yi Bai, hearing this, automatically replied, "Of course, this is the young girl's joyful drink." The moment the words escaped his lips, he froze in shock. Oh no, he suddenly realized that the joyful drink he had prepared for Sun Ling and the others had been consumed by Jiang Chumo. A thousand thoughts raced through Yi Bai's mind, each one more frantic than the last. The young girl's joyful drink? What a cute name, Jiang Chumo mused, unaware of Yi Bai's complicated and pained expression as she took another large gulp. For some reason, after drinking this, she felt an intense craving for something to eat. Her gaze swept around the room and soon landed on the refrigerator. Do you have popsicles here? Before Yi Bai could respond, she dashed to the fridge, exclaiming, "Great. It's the old popsicle, and it's my favorite red bean flavor." With that, she tore open the packaging and brought the red and white popsicle to her beautifully painted lips, delicately licking it with her little tongue. In an instant, her eyes sparkled with delight. Yum, this is delicious. As if opening the door to a new world, Jiang Chumo began to lick the popsicle eagerly, even savoring it in her mouth, relishing the icy sweetness that exploded in her mouth. A satisfied blush crept onto her cheeks as she immersed herself in a marvelous euphoria, becoming increasingly addicted with each lick. Watching this scene, Yi Bai felt utterly despondent. My joyful drink. That popsicle. His heart felt as though it were bleeding, tears forming in his eyes. Yi Bai, this popsicle is so delicious. Where did you buy it? Jiang Chumo asked, her words muffled, completely oblivious to Yi Bai's complex and anguished expression. Stop. Please don't eat anymore. Yi Bai could no longer bear to watch, fearing that if he did, he would lose control. With a resigned sigh, he forcibly changed the subject. Let's hurry and start the live stream for the vehicle inspection. Oh, all right. Jiang Chumo reluctantly finished the last bite of the popsicle, licking her enticing red lips. If it weren't for the fear of catching a chill, I would have loved to eat a couple more. As she spoke, she unconsciously stretched, showcasing her graceful curves, while muttering to herself. The ice has been consumed, and I find myself yearning for something warm. How delightful it would be to indulge in a meaty popsicle. Just then, Yi Bai nearly choked on his own blood upon hearing such audacious words. Observing Jiang Chumo's enchanting face, made even more alluring by the effects of her drink. His cheeks flushed with embarrassment. He opened his mouth, eager to speak, but the words caught in his throat. Torn between desire and hesitation, he ultimately refrained from voicing anything. The aftermath of that drink was quite potent, indeed. To prevent the situation from spiraling out of control, Yi Bai swiftly retrieved his phone and initiated a live broadcast at lightning speed. Finally, the host is online. What new surprises await today? Who is that stunning lady beside the host? She's gorgeous. No way. Another beauty on screen? Did the host save the galaxy in a past life? As he scanned the barrage of comments, Yi Bai cleared his throat and addressed the camera. Allow me to introduce this lovely lady, Jiang Chumo, who is also the owner of our current modification project. Moreover, she is our top supporter, a peach among us. His words ignited a frenzy in the chat. What? The top supporter is a woman, and a breathtaking one at that. Is the host out of his mind? How dare he meet the top supporter in person? Host, are you foolish? In our streaming world, the top supporter is akin to a guardian. How can you treat them so casually? In the face of the audience's playful jabs, Jiang Chumo remained composed. Perhaps the effects of the drink still lingered, as she appeared particularly joyful and relaxed. With a mischievous smile, she leaned closer to Yi Bai, raising an eyebrow at the camera. Are you envious? Jealous? Unfortunately, you cannot share in this. At this moment, the male viewers were utterly incensed. This is heart-wrenching. How could this happen? Release the host. Let me take his place. I can't accept this. How could my goddess be monopolized by the host? I declare myself heartbroken. As the mood of the broadcast turned increasingly sour, Yi Bai quickly intervened, attempting to extricate himself from Jiang Chumo's affectionate hold while gesturing to the camera. Ahem. Everyone, calm down. This is merely for show. I am still single. Single. Upon hearing the word single, Jiang Chumo's smile faltered slightly, a flicker of disappointment passing through her eyes. Yet, in front of so many viewers, she couldn't openly dispute it. So she silently released her grasp. Yi Bai, uncertain whether she was genuinely upset or merely acting for the camera, swiftly changed the subject. All right, enough of the chit-chat. Let us examine the new vehicle. Haha, I can't stop laughing. Is this a Wuling Mini? It looks just like a chopped pepper fish head. Are you a devil host? How could you transform such a lovely car into this? Won't it have nightmares at night? It's adorably ugly. Why do I find myself strangely attracted to it? Chapter 237. This automatic parking feature is definitely praiseworthy. What's so funny? Yi Bai, with a serious expression, addressed the camera. Do not be deceived by its appearance. I assure you, this car's performance is exceptional. The final price will be comparable to the current market-leading electric sedans priced at around 110,000. However, its overall performance can even surpass the recently released flagship SU7 from Dami Motors. Upon hearing this, the viewer's skepticism surged. Are you bragging, host? A car priced at 110,000 can outshine the Dami SU7? The top model of the SU7 costs over 500,000. Exactly. The SU7 accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers h in 2.78 seconds, which is top tier. How can your little car be faster? Is the host so desperate to sell cars that he has lost all sense of shame? Confronted with a storm of doubt, Yi Bai merely smiled mysteriously. You shall see for yourselves. He opened the door of the chopped pepper fish head and gestured for Jiang Chumo to enter, before settling into the driver's seat. Buckle up, MOMO. The seasoned driver is about to take off. No sooner had he spoken than he slammed the accelerator to the floor. The seemingly awkward chopped pepper fish head left behind a dark tire mark, vanishing from its spot in an instant, only to reappear at the opposite end of the yard. The terrifying acceleration enveloped both Jiang Chumo inside the vehicle and all viewers watching, inducing a profound sensation of breathlessness. Oh my goodness! What on earth is this speed? My eyes can hardly keep up. 19 seconds. I timed it. It absolutely did not exceed 19 seconds. What a piece of junk the Dami SU7 is. Before the viewers could recover from the exhilarating acceleration, Yi Bai skillfully maneuvered the steering wheel, executing a drift in the confined yard. The chopped pepper fish head slid dramatically, its rear creating a graceful arc, the tires screeching against the asphalt, yet always remaining on the brink of control. Unbelievable. Even the legendary drivers of Akina Mountain would tip their hats to you, host. Drifting in a chopped pepper fish head? This scene is too beautiful for me to watch. After a dazzling display of drifting and spinning, Yi Bai parked the car at the center of the yard. With the standard maneuvers completed, he was ready to showcase something more entertaining. He activated the vehicle's intelligent assistance system. First up was the automatic reverse parking feature. Yi Bai released the steering wheel, and the chopped pepper fish head autonomously scanned its surroundings, smoothly and accurately backing into a narrow parking space with remarkable precision. The entire process flowed seamlessly. Wow, this is even steadier than an experienced driver. If I had this skill during my driving test, would I still have failed 5 times? Mom, I no longer need to worry about parking. Of course, as educated drivers, we sometimes encounter those lacking in manners. Yi Bai grinned mischievously and activated a new mode. Next up was the parking space snatching feature. Just as he finished speaking, a work vehicle driven by Sun Ling was preparing to back into another vacant space. However, the chopped pepper fish head sprang into action. In a flash, it darted into the space, parking with remarkable speed and precision. The viewers erupted into laughter at this spectacle. Haha, that is so sneaky. I love it. The parking space snatching mode. This feature is tailor-made for me. I suggest all cars should have this function. I'll never fear losing my parking space again. With the incredible demonstration complete, Yi Bai turned the camera toward the vehicle's virtual dashboard. The most crucial information was at hand. Observe. The dashboard clearly displayed the remaining battery power. Remaining battery, 99. Upon seeing this number, the entire live chat fell into stunned silence. Everyone was astounded. After such vigorous driving, including rapid starts and wild drifts, and extensive use of the intelligent features, the battery had only diminished by 1%. This range was utterly astonishing. Yi Bai, stop playing around in the yard. It's far too mundane. Inside the car, Jiang Chumo, noticing the viewer's astonishment, mischievously suggested to the camera. True performance can only be demonstrated on the road. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. On the road. On the road. What prowess does light possess in the courtyard? If you dare, take it to the highway. Autumn Mountain. If we don't race around Autumn Mountain, I cannot acknowledge the true value of this chopped pepper fish head. Observing the fervent barrage of comments, a broader smile spread across Jiang Chumo's face. The atmosphere had been perfectly heightened. She extended her delicate fingers towards the camera and gestured. Here's the deal. If today's live stream can garner over 1 million likes and exceed 100,000 viewers, I shall compel our host to abandon all resistance and willingly take this chopped pepper fish head for a splendid ride around. How does that sound? Come on, family. What are you waiting for? Smash that like button. Let us go wild. 100,000 online. Who do they look down upon? I'll call all my relatives over. I would even sacrifice my fingers today just to see the chopped pepper fish head on the road. Brothers, charge. Let the host witness the power of our fandom. In an instant, the number of likes and online viewers in the live stream began to soar at a visibly frantic pace. Fans rushed to spread the word, summoning friends and family. Yi Bai, watching the rapidly escalating statistics in the back end, turned to the charming Jiang Chumo, whose few words had elevated the atmosphere to its zenith, and felt a wave of admiration. Chumo, if you weren't the esteemed lady of the Jiang family from Jinling, I would have wanted to recruit you to manage my operations. Your charisma and ability to rally the crowd are truly unparalleled. Well, let us see if you can afford the price. Jiang Chumo proudly lifted her chin. Thanks to the zealous efforts of the fans, it wasn't long before the live stream's likes easily surpassed the 1 million mark, and the number of simultaneous viewers firmly stood above 100,000. WeVE met the goal. WeVE met the goal. Host, stop dawdling. Hurry and get us on the road. Go. I can't wait to see the chopped pepper fish head gallivanting on the road. Just as Yi Bai was about to fulfill his promise and drive out, a timid voice called from the entrance. Brother, it's time for lunch. It was Zhang Hongying, holding a tray with several exquisite dishes and a steaming bowl of rice. Standing there somewhat bashfully, Yi Bai looked at her, then at the eager audience in the live stream, and smiled at Zhang Hongying. Don't rush, Hongying. Just warm the food up a bit. Family, hold on tight. The chopped pepper fish head is officially hitting the road. With Yi Bai's command, the chopped pepper fish head silently rolled out of the Yunxiao Auto Repair Factory, merging into the flow of city traffic. When this uniquely shaped vehicle appeared on the road, it immediately attracted everyone's attention. Whether it was pedestrians on the sidewalk or drivers in adjacent lanes, astonishment, disbelief, and barely contained laughter filled their gazes. What the heck? Look over there. What kind of car is that? It resembles a chopped pepper fish head. Ha. The owner is quite creative. What a bizarre modification. Once on the highway, Yi Bai pressed the accelerator slightly, and the vehicle's speed surged instantly. Those who had just been pointing and watching were quickly left far behind. A young driver in a BMW M4, initially basking in the admiration of onlookers as he weaved through traffic, suddenly found himself overtaken by a dark red blur. He blinked in disbelief. No way. Was that a chopped pepper fish head that just passed me? Instinctively, he stepped on the gas, attempting to catch up and see for himself. Yet, his performance-oriented coupe could only watch helplessly as the chopped pepper fish head's silhouette shrank in his rearview mirror until it vanished entirely. What the hell? The BMW driver muttered in disbelief. Just then, a deep, aggressive engine roar erupted from behind. A Ducati Panigale V4 surged forward like a bolt of lightning. The rider, clad in a sleek black leather suit, scoffed at the oddly shaped chopped pepper fish head ahead. To him, such attention-seeking modifications were mere eye candy. He could easily surpass it with a flick of his wrist. However, an alarming scene unfolded. No matter how he accelerated or pushed his beast of a machine to its limits, the chopped pepper fish head maintained a steady distance ahead and seemed to be leisurely pulling away. He watched his speedometer climb from 120 to 150, then 200. Yet that silhouette remained calm and unhurried, as if strolling. This is insane. The rider felt a chill coursing through him. An electric vehicle faster than top-tier motorcycles? And it looks like a chopped pepper fish head. Aren't you afraid of going so fast that you'll fly into the sky? Inside the vehicle, Jiang Chumo reveled in the sights passing by outside and the exhilarating thrust of acceleration, her cheeks flushed with excitement. Wow, this feels amazing. It's more thrilling than any sports car I've ever ridden in. Yi Bai, however, merely smiled nonchalantly. This is just the beginning. This speed is far from the chopped pepper fish head's limits. It's a pity that there are too many cars on the highway. There is hardly any space to truly unleash its potential. His words were clearly transmitted to every viewer in the live stream. What? This isn't even its limit? Don't scare me, host. This is too extravagant. We can't even see your taillights, and you tell us you haven't even tried? What a shame. If only there were a professional racetrack nearby. At that moment, a comment caught Yi Bai's attention. Host, I just checked the map, and there seems to be a mountain circuit called Yinshan nearby. It reportedly has 33 consecutive curves and is quite challenging. Hardly any cars go there. You should give it a try if it's open today. Yinshan Circuit? Yi Bai became intrigued upon reading the comment. He immediately activated the car's navigation system to look up the location. The map indicated that the circuit was not far from where he was, and according to traffic information, it appeared to be open. All right, let us head to Yinshan Circuit. Yi Bai decisively exited the highway at the next intersection, steering towards the destination indicated on the navigation. After a few minutes, the chopped pepper fish head arrived smoothly at the entrance of Yinshan Circuit. Just as the comment had suggested, there were no barriers set up, and the circuit's gates stood wide open, appearing somewhat desolate. Without further ado, Yi Bai drove in, eager to experience the limits of his vehicle. Not long after the chopped pepper fish had disappeared around the first bend, a yellow construction vehicle ambled into view. Two workers in uniform stepped out, grumbling as they unloaded a construction barrier meant to close the circuit, placing it at the entrance and setting up a warning line. Damn it. My stomach is really acting up. One of the workers groaned, clutching his belly in discomfort. I hope no one comes in while I'm away. Don't worry. Who would come to such a desolate place? The other worker waved his hand dismissively. Hurry up. I can't hold it anymore. Let us get back to the restroom. With that, the two hurried off towards a nearby temporary toilet. Meanwhile, inside Yinshan Circuit, a vastly different scene was unfolding. Yi Bai piloted the spicy fish head with unbridled enthusiasm along the winding mountain track. Each sharp turn was approached with an almost flawless angle. The vehicle's body pressed firmly against the asphalt by the tremendous centrifugal force, gliding through the corners with a grace akin to flowing water. On the straight stretch, he pushed the accelerator to the floor, the speedometer soaring perilously close to 400 km/h. Ah, what exhilarating joy! What thrilling excitement! In the passenger seat, Jiang Chumo felt the adrenaline coursing through her veins, her excitement spilling over into jubilant screams. The viewers in the live stream experienced this adrenaline-fueled thrill through a first-person perspective, immersed in the spectacle of speed and passion. Meanwhile, at the opposite end of the track, a grand underground racing event was being broadcast live online. Welcome back, dear viewers, to the finals atop Cloud Mountain. The sweet voice of the female host resonated in the streaming room. Our race has entered a heated phase. Indeed, the male host exclaimed with fervor. Currently in the lead is our nation's top racer, the three-time champion, Fang Zheng. His red Ferrari 488 maintains a significant advantage. Hot on his heels, however, is the once great racer and Grand Slam champion, Yuan Tong. Though he had been sidelined for 2 years due to injury, today, his blue Porsche 911 GT3 still showcases his undiminished prowess. Apart from these two, the other competitors have been left far behind, relegated to mere supporters. On the live feed, the red and blue supercars chased each other, engaging in a thrilling duel. Yet, just as everyone anticipated the champion to emerge from this pair, The director's camera unexpectedly captured an unusual sight. Behind Feng Zhang's red Ferrari, a bizarre, dark red compact vehicle suddenly invaded everyone's view. Director, please zoom in. The male commentator, the first to sense the anomaly, widened his eyes in disbelief. What is that behind Feng Zhang? A Wuling Hongguang Mini? As the director focused the camera, the peculiar shape of the vehicle became crystal clear to all viewers. My heavens! The female host gasped. That's not a Wuling Mini. That's a spicy fish head? The entire streaming room erupted in chaos. Am I seeing this right? A spicy fish head has crashed the professional racing scene? Did the driver take a wrong turn? Did he stumble into the wrong set? This is hilarious. Is this the latest mobile advertisement? Don't let it get away. I bet this spicy fish head is here to steal the show. At the commentary booth, the two hosts exchanged bewildered glances, caught between laughter and disbelief. It seems a well-meaning citizen has accidentally wandered into our racetrack. The male commentator stifled a chuckle, trying to regain control. Our staff should be able to. But before he could finish, an astonishing scene played out before them. The vehicle that everyone thought was merely a comedic interloper entered a series of S-shaped curves. Instead of slowing down, it defied all physical logic, its body nearly parallel to the ground, like a specter, hugging the inner curve and instantaneously overtaking a yellow Lamborghini ahead. My God! The male commentator leapt from his seat. He just surpassed Lightning Akan. He actually overtook Akan's Lamborghini with a spicy fish head in the curve. And look at his racing line. It's textbook perfection, even surpassing what could be found in textbooks. The female host's voice brimmed with astonishment. The audience barely had time to process this moment before even more surreal events unfolded. On the straightaway, a green McLaren 720S attempted to use its powerful horsepower to shake off the spicy fish head closing in behind. However, that dark red figure clung to its rear like a relentless shadow. Just as they approached the turn, the spicy fish head surged forward, overtaking from the outside, and, with an astonishingly late break point, managed to enter the turn ahead of the McLaren. This is madness. Absolute madness. What does this driver think this professional racing arena is? An amusement park? Who is this driver? This is certainly not an ordinary individual. Such maneuvering and audacity are unheard of. The professional racers who were overtaken stood in stunned silence, their worldviews shaken to their core. What just passed me? I was overtaken by a spicy fish head. This is unscientific. It is utterly unscientific. Amidst the gasps of disbelief, the dark red spicy fish head sliced through the second tier of elite supercars with ease, inexorably pursuing the two leaders ahead, the red and blue figures. The chat in the streaming room was now inundated with exclamations of astonishment. Everyone realized they might be witnessing history today. This is impossible. The male commentator's voice trembled with excitement, becoming hoarse. Did you see that drainage curve? And that pendulum drift? Can a front-wheel drive electric vehicle even perform such maneuvers? The female host's eyes widened, fixated on the screen, fearful of missing any detail. And its acceleration. Look, every time it exits a corner, its speed increases almost instantaneously, with barely any delay. And its grip, at such high speeds, it doesn't exhibit an ounce of slip or lean. Is this truly the Wuling Hongguang Mini we know? The viewers in the streaming room were utterly captivated by this surreal display. Holy cow, I'm at a loss for words to describe my feelings. What is this? This is a UFO disguised as a spicy fish head. Mom asked me why I'm watching the live stream on my knees. This drifting, this cornering, this acceleration, this grip, I shall henceforth regard it as divine. From today, I am the most faithful disciple of the spicy fish head cult. Everyone felt their minds momentarily stall. Everything unfolded so rapidly, so unexpectedly. From the moment the spicy fish head made its entrance to its consecutive overtakes of professional racers, the entire sequence transpired in mere minutes. They hadn't even recovered from the shock of the spicy fish head crashing the race, when that dark red figure was already closing in on the two leading supercars. It has caught up. It truly has caught up. The male commentator, exhilarated, raised his fist in triumph. There are less than 200 meters left to Feng Zhang and Yuan Tong. My heavens, are we truly about to witness the birth of a miracle? A spicy fish head challenging two champion drivers. The viewers were equally electrified, their breaths collectively held, hearts racing. Could it be? Is it really about to overtake? On the track, the duel between Feng Zhang and Yuan Tong reached its final, feverish climax. Attention! Approaching the last bend, Cloud Mountain. Feng Zhang's navigator calmly reported the conditions via the onboard intercom. This is the most challenging hairpin turn on the entire track. The outcome hinges on this moment. Feng Zhang's gaze became intensely focused as he took a deep breath, gripping the steering wheel tightly, his mind already calculating the optimal cornering angle and braking point. On the other side, Yuan Tong also received the navigator's instructions. A glance in the rearview mirror revealed a relentless red Ferrari tailing closely behind, igniting a fierce competitive spirit within him. If he could successfully suppress Fang Zheng in this turn, the championship would be his. Both drivers directed their full attention to the racetrack ahead, convinced that each other was their only rival. However, at the very moment they were wholly concentrated and preparing for their final showdown, a shadow appeared unexpectedly, like a specter, dashing through the narrow gap between their cars. Whoosh! The spicy fish head surged forward with an unmatched momentum, audaciously overtaking both of them on the final stretch before the turn. Fang Zheng and Yuan Tong instinctively turned their heads simultaneously to look out the window. They caught a glimpse of a ferocious fish head profile in the driver's calm, almost bored expression within the car. Then, that figure plunged into the last hairpin turn, vanishing from sight. At that moment, the two elite championship drivers were utterly stunned. Chapter 240, huh? It overtook in a flash. As the spicy fish head crossed the finish line in flawless form, Yi Bai gradually brought his car to a halt. He gazed at the densely packed crowd ahead and the banner hanging high at the summit of Yanshan, feeling a bit bewildered. Huh, why are there so many people here? And it seems like a dead end up ahead. Beside him, Jiang Chumo was still immersed in the exhilarating speed and thrill of the race. Her face flushed with excitement as she gasped for air. That was exhilarating. Yi Bai, I have never felt such a rush before. However, after the excitement wore off, she noticed something amiss. Suddenly, two stunningly attractive, scantily clad racing girls emerged from the crowd. With professional sweet smiles, they walked straight to the front of the spicy fish head. One of the racing girls held a dazzling gold trophy in her hands. Amidst the astonished gazes of the onlookers, she respectfully presented the golden trophy to Yi Bai, who had just exited the car. Meanwhile, the other racing girl draped a similarly golden medal inscribed with Champion Navigator around the still-dazed Jiang Chumo's neck. What's going on? Jiang Chumo looked down at the medal on her chest, feeling a bit dazed. Following that, the event host rushed over with a microphone, excitement radiating from his face as he announced loudly, "Congratulations to both of you. Welcome our new champions. Congratulations on winning the final championship of this year's National Professional Racing Level 1 event at the summit of Yanshan." At these words, Yi Bai's live stream went into a frenzy. 666666666. What the heck? What did I just witness? In the blink of an eye, the streamer went from car modder to national racing champion. Even movies wouldn't dare to portray this. It's too absurd. Streamer, I just came out for a stroll and happened to win a national championship. What's the big deal? A deity. This is definitely a deity descending to Earth. As the dramatic event of accidentally entering the racetrack and winning the championship unfolded, Yi Bai's livestream audience began to skyrocket. The number of online viewers effortlessly surpassed 200,000 and continued to surge towards 300,000. Meanwhile, the protagonists of the event, Yi Bai and Jiang Chumo, were utterly dumbfounded. They exchanged glances, each reflecting the same bewilderment and confusion in their eyes. What's happening? How did we become champions? Several seconds passed before they finally processed the situation, combining the host's words with the grandeur of their surroundings. An unbelievable truth dawned upon them. They had inadvertently wandered into a national professional racing competition, been mistaken for participants, and casually claimed a championship on live national television. Goodness, this is truly astonishing. Mr. Yi, as the newly crowned national champion, do you have any acceptance speech you'd like to share with the viewers at home and in the live stream? The host extended the microphone toward Yi Bai, his eyes brimming with anticipation. Yi Bai held the heavy trophy, his expression somewhat peculiar. After a moment's thought, he candidly replied, "It was quite sudden. Nothing particularly noteworthy to say." The host's smile faltered momentarily but quickly adjusted, pressing on. Then, during the final stages of the race, you astonishingly overtook both Fang Zheng and Yuan Tong, two top contenders. What was your feeling at that moment? Not much feeling. Hearing this, Yi Bai wasn't sure what else to say, merely shrugging his shoulders, his tone as nonchalant as if discussing a trivial matter. It was just a quick overtake. After all, as soon as he said that, his live stream was inundated with comments of disbelief. Impressive. The streamer's remarks are too nonchalant. The psychological shadow area of the two champion drivers at this moment must be enormous. I've learned something. I'll use this phrasing to show off in the future. Just then, the roar of supercars drew near. As Fang Zheng and Yuan Tong's vehicles began to arrive at the finish line, Fang Zheng stepped out of his red Ferrari with a grim expression. Striding directly toward Yi Bai, he glared at Yi Bai, his eyes brimming with anger and resentment, and demanded, You. Which club are you from? Me? Yi Bai thought for a moment and casually replied. Yinxiao Club. Yinxiao Club? Fang Zheng furrowed his brow, repeating the name in his mind, yet found it utterly unfamiliar. Never heard of it. Which city is it from? Who's the coach? Oh, it's a very small club. It hasn't even opened yet. Yi Bai said nonchalantly. However, after today, that name will be known. I plan to start a club and call it that. Upon hearing this, Fang Zheng could no longer contain his fury. He believed Yi Bai was deliberately mocking him. Are you kidding me? He yelled angrily. Did you do this on purpose? Deliberately driving a modified spicy fish head to participate in the race just to humiliate us professional racing drivers in supercars. What if there is a possibility? Jiang Chumo, standing beside him, looked at Fang Zheng's reddened face and said softly, a bit shyly. We really did accidentally stumble in here? Stumbled in? How is that possible? Fang Zheng retorted without a second thought. Who would accidentally wander onto a closed professional racetrack and casually win a national championship? This is sheer nonsense. Just then, one of his teammates, holding a phone, looked on in shock at the replay of Yi Bai's live stream. Brother Fang, you have to see this. Fang Zheng curiously leaned in, and when he saw the replay of Yi Bai entering the track, mumbling throughout the ride, and finally his surprised expression upon realizing the finish line was a dead end, he was utterly dumbfounded. It really was an accidental intrusion. Meanwhile, the event organizers hurriedly arrived on the scene. Upon learning the situation, they rushed to the entrance. And upon seeing the casually discarded roadblocks and 2 workers still in the restroom, they too were left speechless. This was undoubtedly the most significant blunder in the history of their event. The issue at hand is that the national live broadcast has concluded. The championship trophy has been awarded, and everyone is aware that the victor is a young man with a spicy fish head dish. Although the championship title should not rightfully belong to Yi Bai, it appears that it can only be his now. Chapter 241. The live stream on modifying cars goes unnoticed. Yet one victory captures the world's attention. In the face of this unprecedented blunder, the event organizer's representative was at a loss. After an urgent discussion, they reached a compromise. Ahem, esteemed guests and viewers, the host awkwardly announced while holding the microphone. Due to a significant error on our part, Mr. Yi Bai inadvertently entered the racetrack. Although Mr. Yi Bai did cross the finish line first with undeniable prowess, in the interest of fairness, we have decided to award the championship of the Yunsan Summit to the second-place finisher, Mr. Yuan Tong. With that, the staff sheepishly took the freshly awarded trophy from Yi Bai's hands and promptly presented it to the equally bewildered Yuan Tong. Yi Bai, however, was indifferent to the outcome. He had not intended to compete and held no interest in the championship title. Yet, when he discerned Yuan Tong's expression, he was momentarily taken aback. Wasn't this the pilot who had sought his advice about modifying a private jet after his wife had strayed? 1 million in prize money, the host declared loudly. Upon hearing this figure, Yi Bai felt a pang of regret in his chest. If only he had known about such a substantial prize. He would have fought to secure the championship title. At that moment, Yuan Tong also recognized Yi Bai. Clutching the reclaimed trophy, he stepped forward and remarked, Mr. Yi, long time no see. Indeed, it has been quite a while, Yi Bai replied, teasingly. I have been curious about what you would do to earn money to consult me on modifying your plane, only to discover you are a professional racer. Yuan Tong, with a bittersweet smile, shook his head, revealing a hint of weariness in his eyes. Years ago, I relinquished racing to become a pilot to pursue my wife, who was a flight attendant for our airline. But enough of the past. He steadied his gaze and continued, Mr. Yi, with this prize money and my savings, I am nearly set. Give me a few months to wrap up some matters, and I will formally seek your assistance in modifying that aircraft. All right. I will await your arrival. Yi Bai nodded in agreement. With the tumult of the event settled, Jiang Chumo eagerly pulled Yi Bai along, exclaiming, Yi Bai, let us hurry back. I need to instruct the factory to establish a new production line to manufacture this spicy fish head dish. Based on today's live stream, this vehicle will undoubtedly sell like hotcakes. After bidding farewell to the crowd, the two departed the Yunsan track in the spicy fish head vehicle. By the time Yi Bai returned to the Shaoyan auto repair shop, dusk had settled. Upon entering, he spotted Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying sitting pitifully at the dining table, lethargically resting their heads on the surface. The food had long since cooled. A rather untimely rumble emanated from Sun Ling's stomach. Boss, you finally decided to come back. She pouted, her voice laced with reproach. We're starving. The food has been reheated again and again. It's practically dried out. Brother, Zhang Hongying chimed in, looking at him with longing. I'm so hungry. Seeing the girl's woeful expressions filled Yi Bai with both amusement and guilt. He approached and gently ruffled their hair. My apologies. My apologies. Allow me to treat you two tonight. I promise to ensure you both are thoroughly fed. Yes, yes. The innocent Zhang Hongying immediately associated being fed with delicious food and clapped her hands in delight. Sun Ling, however, blushed furiously, quickly grasping the deeper meaning behind Yi Bai's words. She shot him a playful glare and waved her hands, exclaiming, I don't want that. No, as if recalling something. Her voice dwindled, becoming increasingly timid. It's not that I can't drink it. I mean eat it, but really, I just don't want to. Yi Bai merely chuckled at her cute, flustered demeanor. After asking the girls to wait a moment, he reheated the cold food and swiftly prepared a couple of steaming dishes from the refrigerator. Soon, the three gathered around the dining table to enjoy their belated dinner. Yi Bai continually served Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, and watching them devour the food filled his heart with warmth and satisfaction. At the table, Sun Ling chattered animatedly about the amusing events of the day at the factory, while Zhang Hongying quietly sat beside him, occasionally refilling his bowl, her clear, sparkling eyes radiating admiration and affection. After dinner and ensuring the two girls were settled, Yi Bai finally had the time to explore the day's most significant gain. Delving into the system, he was taken aback upon seeing the staggering balance of shock value, originally around 20 million. This unexpected championship victory during the live broadcast had surged by an astonishing 30 million. Good heavens! Yi Bai exclaimed inwardly, filled with exhilaration. He retrieved his phone, opened Douyin, and wished to gauge the event's viral spread. To his astonishment, a glaring entry on the trending list caught his eye, ranked 9th. Spicy Fish Head claims victory. Upon clicking, he found an array of edited videos showcasing his race at Yunsan, along with countless comments and discussions from netizens. Truly, the modification livestream had gone unnoticed. But one victory had garnered the attention of the world. With this substantial sum, the shock value for modifying an anti-tank infantry fighting vehicle is more than sufficient. Yi Bai mused. Just then, his phone rang. It was Director Luo Yichen from the Tianjin Fire Department. Lieutenant Yi. Ha ha ha, what a delightful surprise. A tremendous surprise. Luo Yichen's voice brimmed with uncontainable excitement. The new firefighting combat suits you designed have been produced according to your specifications. Moreover, we've added some enhancements. The results will exceed your expectations. Oh, so soon? Yi Bai was equally taken aback. It must be swift. This is a life-saving product. Luo Yichen replied. I've arranged for a dedicated aircraft to deliver a batch to Huadu. It is expected to arrive by tomorrow morning. You will have the chance to inspect it personally. After hanging up, Yi Bai's heart swelled with anticipation. The following morning, he arrived at the designated delivery location. When the transport box was opened, revealing the new firefighting combat suit, gleaming with metallic sheen, even Yi Bai, accustomed to grand spectacles, was utterly astonished. Chapter 242. You want to modify firefighting gear? What on earth is this steel battle suit? The firefighting combat suit before him bore little resemblance to the design he had initially provided. While the original concept exuded a sense of advanced technology, it was essentially a form-fitting combat suit. Yet, what lay before him now was a complete exoskeleton suit, constructed from countless intricate mechanical components and dark red metallic armor. With its sleek lines and powerful mechanical structure, the circular energy core at the chest emanated a gentle blue glow. Yi Bai's eyes widened, his mind consumed by one thought. Isn't this just like Tony Stark's Iron Man suit? This is utterly spectacular. Does this contraption even have copyright? Yi Bai, gazing at the familiar design before him, couldn't help but voice his grievances to the delivery personnel. Upon hearing this, the staff member immediately straightened his posture and solemnly corrected him. Captain Yi, you mustn't say that. The leaders of the fire department have meticulously arranged everything. This suit of armor has no relation whatsoever to any iron battle suit. He pointed at the dark red coating of the armor and earnestly explained, You see, we call this suit the Red Battle Garb. Its design draws inspiration from the traditional Chinese ghost in red clothing. It embodies a distinctly Chinese horror aesthetic. How can it possibly relate to their American sci-fi themes? Hearing such a brilliantly absurd explanation, Yi Bai couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. What a splendid red battle garb. What exquisite Chinese horror. This reasoning was utterly impeccable. Suppressing his laughter, he carefully inspected the red battle garb. Indeed, Luo Yichen and his team had put considerable thought into it. They had enhanced their original design with a lightweight exoskeleton support system and several modular interfaces, significantly improving the suit's practicality and expandability. Intriguing. Yi Bai nodded in satisfaction. He promptly instructed Sun Ling to prepare the necessary props for the live broadcast, such as a high-powered flamethrower, a high-pressure water gun, and ample gasoline and flammable materials. At the same time, He asked Zhang Hongying to change into a set of lightweight sportswear in preparation for the upcoming live test. Once everything was ready, Yi Bai initiated the live broadcast once more. Following the immense popularity of the spicy fish head incident from the previous day, the moment the live stream commenced, the viewership soared, quickly surpassing 30,000. Host, are we racing again today? What about the spicy fish head? Where's my spicy fish head? What are we streaming today? Don't tell me it's just an advertisement. Yi Bai glanced at the barrage of comments, cleared his throat, and addressed the camera. Dear viewers, today we shall not be racing. Instead, I will present something even more thrilling, a test of our newly developed firefighting combat suit. Firefighting suit? So it's just a firefighting suit? I thought there would be something exciting. What can a firefighting suit do? It merely protects against fire. How dull. Let's disperse. I'll return when the host races next time. Despite their dismissive words, the viewership did not dwindle. On the contrary, it continued to rise due to the significant traffic from the previous day's event. Most viewers harbored curiosity and a desire to witness what new stunts this recent national racing champion host would conjure today. I understand that upon hearing firefighting suit, you may find it uninteresting, Yi Bai remarked, a mysterious smile on his face. But what if I refer to this? With a swift motion, he pulled down a massive curtain. The red battle garb was revealed in all its striking glory, captivating the attention of every viewer. As the audience comprehended the full scope of the armor, the barrage momentarily halted for a mere second before erupting into a frenzy unlike any before. What the hell? What is this? An iron battle suit. You told me it was just a firefighting suit. Yet you brought over Tony Stark? Host, I bow to you. How many surprises do you have in store for us? Mom, I see a deity. With just a single reveal, the viewership skyrocketed as if propelled by a rocket, swiftly surpassing 40,000, then 50,000, ultimately stabilizing at a staggering 200,000. Stay calm, Yi Bai urged, signaling for everyone to compose themselves. As I mentioned, this is our independently developed red battle garb, with no connections to foreign sci-fi films. While speaking, he began to don the armor with the assistance of Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying. As the pieces clicked into place, the armor enveloped him, producing a series of crisp mechanical sounds. The visor gradually closed, and the circular energy core on his chest emitted a soft blue glow, exuding a sense of futuristic technology. Primarily, as a firefighting combat suit, its core function, of course, is fire resistance. Yi Bai's voice resonated through the armor's built-in speakers. According to our tests, this red battle garb can effortlessly withstand temperatures of 3,000 degrees Celsius. Additionally, it features a micro-water cooling circulation system that ensures the wearer maintains a comfortable temperature even in extreme heat. To validate this claim, Yi Bai had previously directed Sun Ling to construct a massive fire pit in the yard using fireproof bricks, filling it with wood and dousing it in gasoline. Light it. At Yi Bai's command, Sun Ling tossed a flaming torch into the fire pit. Boom. A towering inferno erupted, and the searing heat waves surged forth, palpable even to spectators standing several meters away. The entire fire pit transformed into a blazing sea of flames. Under the gaze of 2 million viewers, Yi Bai, clad in the red battle garb, confidently strode into the molten sea of fire. The flames licked at the dark red armor, rendering it incandescent. Yet, Yi Bai appeared as if he were strolling through his own backyard, moving leisurely. It feels quite nice, warm and comfortable. Yi Bai's voice emerged from the heart of the inferno. To demonstrate he was not merely putting on a facade, he even began to bounce playfully in the center of the fire, performing calisthenics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. This spectacle shattered all preconceived notions among the audience. Impressive. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Doing calisthenics in a 3,000-degree fire? Host, are you a demon? This is no longer a firefighting suit. This is a magma swimming ensemble. I shall deem it the strongest firefighting suit in history. There is no comparison. Of course, mere fire resistance is far from sufficient. Yi Bai's voice resonated once more. As a combat suit, it must also possess firefighting capabilities. While speaking, he raised his arms, revealing hidden launch ports on the shoulders and back of the armor, which gradually opened to reveal rows of small, bullet-like fire-extinguishing projectiles. These were high-pressure dry powder extinguishing rounds, designed for long-range and wide coverage, specifically aimed at tackling common fire scenarios. To showcase its performance, Yi Bai instructed Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying to ignite several wooden targets they had prepared around the fire site. Linger, Hongying, are the targets set? All set, boss. Watch closely. Yi Bai locked onto one of the burning targets, and the launch port on his shoulder unleashed a white extinguishing round. The projectile struck the target precisely. Bang! With a muffled thud, a cloud of dry powder erupted, extinguishing the flames on the target and leaving only a blanket of white powder. Wow! The audience in the live stream erupted in excitement. Wow! This is too cool. It hits exactly where aimed. This is not firefighting. It's like playing a shooting game. I want to play too. Host, is this armor for sale? I'll offer $1 million. Observing the lively barrage, Yi Bai's playful spirit ignited. Dear viewers, would you like to see the host empty the magazine? Tap the little heart in the upper left corner. If we break 10 million likes, I will perform a barrage suppression right here on the spot. The enthusiasm of the fans was ignited in an instant, as the number of likes on the screen skyrocketed as if propelled by a rocket. All right, to satisfy you, Yi Bai bellowed, opening all the launch ports on his armor. Dozens of fire-extinguishing projectiles poured out like a torrential rain, cascading in all directions. In an instant, the yard was filled with the muffled sounds of explosions, and the targets that had been ablaze only moments ago were extinguished in an instant. But that was not enough. Yi Bai, now addicted to the thrill, instructed Zhang Hongying to bring out a frisbee launcher. Give me some moving targets. Zhang Hongying ignited the frisbees smeared with flammable agents and hurled them into the sky. Yi Bai immediately locked onto the targets, and once again, the fire-extinguishing projectiles launched from his shoulder. Under the astonished gazes of all, the frisbees, soaring through the air at high speed, were obliterated one by the projectiles, bursting into clouds of white fireworks in the sky. This dazzling and precise shooting display ignited the passions of all viewers in the live stream. This is what exoskeleton mechs are all about. Incredible. If those fire-extinguishing projectiles were replaced with small missiles, wouldn't that make it a walking Terminator? 666. I am at a loss for words to describe my astonishment. I beg you, hurry and mass-produce it. I would sell my belongings to buy a set. Just as Yi Bai and the viewers were enjoying themselves immensely, a series of urgent sirens approached rapidly. Soon, a fire truck came to a stop at the entrance of Yuntian Auto Repair Shop. Several fully armed firefighters rushed in, wielding water guns and demolition tools. However, when they burst into the yard, they were all stunned. Although the yard was a mess, with white powder strewn about, not a single spark could be seen. Only a person clad in a peculiar red armor stood in the center of the yard, striking various impressive poses. The leading firefighter captain, wearing a perplexed expression, approached Sun Ling, who was tidying up, and asked, "Hello, we received reports from the public indicating a severe fire here, with flames reaching the sky. Has the fire been extinguished?" "Fire?" Sun Ling, hearing the captain's question, looked up and pointed to the large fire pit in the center of the yard, somewhat embarrassedly saying, "Oh, there was a fire for a while, but it has been extinguished now." At that moment, Yi Bai, controlling the red armor, walked over. The firefighters, seeing this Iron Man approach them, all took a step back in shock, gripping their water guns tightly in a defensive stance. "Don't be alarmed, I'm one of you." Yi Bai lifted his visor, revealing his face. But before the firefighters could react, another anxious figure dashed in from outside. Their uncle, Xiao Yunshan. "Quick, put out the fire. Why are you still standing here?" Xiao Yunshan shouted as he ran, his face etched with worry. "My little nephew is still inside. If anything happens to him, how will I explain it to his parents?" He rushed into the yard, only to find that there was no fire at all. Just a person in odd armor and several firefighters staring at each other in disbelief. "Huh, no fire?" Xiao Yunshan was taken aback. "Uncle, what brings you here?" Yi Bai asked, looking at his impetuous uncle with a hint of exasperation. Upon hearing that familiar voice and seeing that familiar face, Xiao Yunshan was momentarily stunned. He pointed at Yi Bai, and then at the armor, stammering, "Little Bai? What are you doing? I thought there was a fire here. So I quickly called the fire department. I was just testing a new type of firefighting suit," Yi Bai explained. "Oh, so that's it." Xiao Yunshan finally understood, letting out a long sigh of relief, then sheepishly scratching his head. Meanwhile, the firefighter captain's attention was completely drawn to the striking red armor worn by Yi Bai. He circled the armor, his eyes brimming with curiosity. "Comrade, is this firefighting suit made of metal?" He reached out and tapped on the armor's protective gauntlet, producing a metallic clank. "Can this thing withstand high temperatures?" "Metal conducts heat so quickly, if you stay in a fire for a bit. Won't you become a roast pig?" "Absolutely," Yi Bai replied with a confident smile. To dispel their doubts and better showcase the armor's capabilities, he turned to Sun Ling and said, "Let's do it again." Sun Ling immediately understood, pouring gasoline into the fire pit and igniting a blazing inferno. As the firefighters and Xiao Yunshan looked on in astonishment, Yi Bai stepped boldly into the sea of flames, where temperatures soared to 3,000 degrees Celsius. "Now, You can try using your temperature guns to measure the internal temperature of my armor. Yi Bai's voice resonated clearly from within the fire. The firefighter captain promptly retrieved a professional infrared thermometer, aiming it at Yi Bai. However, no matter how he measured, the readings displayed were alarmingly high temperatures. Next came the fire extinguishing function. Yi Bai shouted once more, and the launch ports on his back opened again, unleashing dozens of fire extinguishing projectiles that accurately and efficiently extinguished the towering flames in mere seconds. The entire process was fluid and seamless. The firefighters from Huadu stood there, utterly dumbfounded. They gazed at the magnificent red armor enveloping Yi Bai, then glanced down at their own traditional, cumbersome firefighting suits that could only passively resist flames, unable to endure high temperatures for long. In that moment, they felt their own equipment had suddenly lost its allure. Comrades, is there any plan for your firefighting suit to collaborate with our Huadu Fire Department? We desperately need this. Chapter 244, Firefighters nationwide begin to mobilize. Well, Yi Bai shrugged. You'll have to ask your chief. I'm just responsible for the technology. No sooner had he finished speaking than the firefighters eagerly pulled out their phones, frantically messaging their superiors in their workgroup. Instructor, Captain, look, this is divine equipment. Instructor, hurry to ask the chief for approval. We in Huadu also need to be equipped with this red armor. As they inundated the chat with messages, they shared the live stream link and the just recorded video clips. Meanwhile, within Yi Bai's live stream, numerous firefighters from across the nation were also lurking. Upon witnessing the extraordinary performance of the red armor, they too began to engage in similar actions, forwarding the live stream link and video clips to their respective fire brigades, teams, and even headquarters WeChat groups. In no time, a small spark could ignite a prairie fire. Soon, Yi Bai's phone erupted with an explosion of notifications. The first call was from the fire department of Modu. Hello? Is this Mr. Yi Bai? We are Modu Fire Department. We saw your new firefighting suit online and would like to order 20 sets. Immediately. Right now? Before Yi Bai could respond, the second call came in, this time from the fire brigade of Yangqing. Mr. Yi, this is Yangqing Fire. 50 sets. We'll start with 50 sets. Money is no object. Following that, the calls came in one after another, showing no signs of stopping. Hello, Mr. Yi. We are Chengdu Fire. We need 30 sets. Hello? Is this Yintian Auto Repair Shop? We are Shanqing Fire. We want 40 sets. Hangzhou Fire, reserving 30 sets. Tianjin Fire, reserving 50 sets. Yi Bai's phone was completely overwhelmed, and he could hardly keep up with the responses. In just 10 minutes, a flurry of orders from across the country had already surpassed 300 sets. Meanwhile, there were still over a dozen incoming calls ringing incessantly. Yi Bai gazed at the bustling scene, a broad smile nearly stretching across his face. He quickly calculated the figures. The cost of this red battle suit was relatively low, yet its selling price was substantial, with a pure profit of at least 500,000 for each unit. With 300 orders, that amounted to a staggering 150 million in pure profit. And judging by the current momentum, this was far from the ceiling. He had struck gold. This time, he had truly hit the jackpot. Even more than before. Linger, quickly, you take charge of processing these orders. Yi Bai hurriedly handed his phone to Sun Ling, entrusting her with this sweet dilemma. He then turned to the eager firefighters from Huadu, grinning as he said, Brothers, don't just stand there. Come and try it out for yourselves. Experience it firsthand. Is it really possible? The firefighters, upon hearing this, were instantly electrified with excitement. They eagerly rubbed their fists together, unable to contain their anticipation to experience this divine gear. While the firefighters joyfully donned the red battle suits, Yi Bai finally found a moment to turn to his uncle, Xiao Yunshan. Uncle, what brings you here all of a sudden? Yi Bai inquired with curiosity. Xiao Yunshan slapped his thigh and exclaimed, Ah, look at my memory. I almost forgot the important matter. Your parents will be returning to Huadu tomorrow. They asked me to inform you to pick them up at the airport in the afternoon. My parents are coming back? Yi Bai was taken aback, a mix of surprise and joy washing over him. It had been ages since he last saw them. What had prompted their return now? I wonder what wind blew them back to remember they have a son, he mused. Indeed, Xiao Yunshan chuckled. Your parents said this time they want to be leaving again. They intend to settle down in the country. Tomorrow evening, we'll have a family reunion dinner at home. Your aunt, your cousin, and all your uncles and aunts will come over to celebrate together. Good gracious, Yi Bai exclaimed, still in shock, yet recognizing it as a wonderful turn of events. He nodded eagerly. All right, uncle, I understand. I'll be sure to be at the airport on time tomorrow. That has settled then. I must head back now. I need to pick up your cousin from school, Xiao Yunshan said, satisfied with the conversation, and departed. After sending off his uncle, Yi Bai intended to prepare for his parents' arrival when his phone rang again. This time, The caller ID displayed an encrypted number. Upon answering, he was greeted by the hearty and slightly teasing laughter of Long Hantian. Ha! Lieutenant Yi, I must first congratulate you. Congratulations on your newfound wealth. General Long, please don't jest with me, Yi Bai replied, somewhat speechless. He anticipated that the firefighting suit he had just developed would capture the military's attention so swiftly. Your news travels fast. Your live stream nearly flooded our military district's intranet. How could I not know? Long Hantian chuckled. You always manage to create quite a stir. However, I'm calling you today for a serious matter. His tone shifted to one of gravity. Forget about the firefighting suits you've sold already. But don't accept any further orders and refrain from selling them for now. Why? Yi Bai was puzzled. Why? The voice of Long Hantian rose slightly. Such an exceptional exoskeleton technology being sold as firefighting gear? It's a waste. This needs to be arranged for our military. Just think about it. Equipping our special forces with this gear would significantly enhance their combat capabilities. Upon hearing this, Yi Bai understood. It was only a matter of time before the military set its sights on this technology. Additionally, Long Hantian continued, there is something even more important. The higher-ups watch your live stream and are very interested in you and your technology. They wish to meet you in person. I wonder if you have any availability soon? Yi Bai's heart raced. The higher-ups? What kind of high-ranking officials were we talking about? This was undoubtedly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A chance to truly engage with the core of power and realize his greater ambitions. This opportunity was not to be missed. I'm available, Yi Bai replied without hesitation. His voice resolute. I'm free at any time. Great. We'll set the meeting for tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at the Southern Theater Command. I'll send someone to pick you up, Long Hantian confirmed, satisfied with Yi Bai's response, before ending the call. After concluding his conversation with Long Hantian, Yi Bai found himself unable to calm his racing heart. This matter was indeed escalating. Just then, a piercing ringtone shattered the tranquility of the auto repair shop. To his shock, it was Uncle Xiao Yunshan calling again. As soon as he answered, Xiao Yunshan's panicked voice, tinged with desperation, echoed in his ear. Xiao Bai, it's bad. A major incident has occurred. Inkai Kindergarten is on fire. What? Yi Bai's heart sank. My daughter is still at the kindergarten. Xiao Yunshan's voice was filled with despair. Principal Qiao and the others are inside. What do we do, Xiao Bai? What do we do? Uncle, don't panic. Yi Bai forced himself to remain calm and immediately inquired, where are the firefighters? Have they arrived? Before Xiao Yunshan could respond, Sun Ling, who had been standing nearby, turned pale and said, Boss, it's bad. The Huadu Fire Department just called and said that most of the firefighting forces in the city have been diverted to our factory. Yi Bai could hardly believe the coincidence. His live stream had inadvertently led to a shortage of firefighting resources in the city. But there was no time to assign blame now. A spark of determination flickered in his eyes. Then let us head to the kindergarten and assist them directly. He immediately turned to the firefighters still testing the red battle suits and commanded, emergency mission. A massive fire has broken out at Inkai Kindergarten. Everyone, gear up and follow me. Meanwhile, inside Inkai Kindergarten, chaos reigned as flames engulfed the teaching building. The air was thick with smoke and the blaring fire alarm echoed throughout the premises. Children, don't panic. Stay calm. Form an orderly line. Cover your mouths and noses with wet cloths, and follow your teachers to the playground. On the playground, Principal Qiao Rian was using a megaphone, desperately directing the evacuation efforts. Remarkably, despite the sudden calamity, the children, although pale and teary-eyed, remained composed. Not a single one cried out or ran about. They followed their teacher's instructions, orderly lining up and swiftly gathering in the safety of the playground, demonstrating discipline and composure far beyond their years. The fire originated from the science laboratory located on the third floor of the teaching building. For reasons unknown, the laboratory had experienced a violent explosion, and the flames spread rapidly. The various chemical reagents stored inside only exacerbated the flames, transforming an ordinary fire into an insurmountable chemical inferno. Minutes later, the first batch of firefighters finally arrived at the scene. However, they appeared somewhat overwhelmed in the face of the raging chemical fire. The firefighters exerted every ounce of strength, directing high-pressure hoses toward the blaze. However, the surging water cascaded onto the flames, not only failing to diminish their ferocity, but instead exacerbating the inferno as if pouring oil onto a fire, resulting in a cacophony of chemical explosions. No, Captain, it's a chemical fire. Water is utterly useless, a young firefighter exclaimed in despair, as they gazed at the flames that relentlessly spread, threatening to engulf everything. A profound sense of hopelessness descended upon their hearts. It's over, all over, Qiao Rian lamented. collapsing to the ground as she watched the scientific laboratory consumed by the raging fire. Tears streamed down her dust-covered cheeks like pearls slipping from a broken string. The laboratory represented not only her labor of love, but also the pride of the entire Inkai kindergarten. In her quest to provide the children with the finest scientific education in the country, she had invested nearly all her savings and tirelessly sought sponsorship, amassing a total expenditure exceeding 20 million. It had barely been constructed to resemble a professional university laboratory. Yet now, all of it would be reduced to ashes in this merciless blaze. The firefighters on the scene were at a loss, helplessly watching the flames grow larger, devouring the teaching building, their hearts filled with urgency. Just as despair enveloped everyone, an unusual, piercing whistle suddenly sliced through the air from above. On the playground, a young boy, sobbing, instinctively looked up. He rubbed his smoke-stung eyes, and the fear and sorrow on his face were instantly replaced by an overwhelming, incredulous astonishment. "Look! Up there! There's something in the sky!" the boy shouted, mustering all his strength to point. Everyone followed the direction of his finger. Beneath the night sky, a figure adorned in dark red and shimmering with metallic sheen descended from above. Flames of blue erupted beneath its feet, and the circular power core on its chest emitted a gentle glow, creating a scene reminiscent of a deity emerging from a science fiction film amidst the smoke and flames. "Iron Man," someone gasped, igniting a wave of shock among those present. The children on the playground instantly forgot their tears, their eyes wide and mouths agape, staring in awe at the figure slowly descending from the heavens. The superhero, once a figment of their imagination, was now a tangible presence before them. Xiao Rian ceased her tears, incredulously witnessing this surreal spectacle, questioning whether her overwhelming sorrow had conjured an illusion. Is this a film? How could Iron Man exist in the real world? Yet, their astonishment was far from over. As the first Iron Man landed steadily in the center of the playground, another series of whistles echoed from the sky. Soon, the second, third, and fourth Iron Men, a total of 7 or 8 identical figures, descended like a meteor shower. Landing in perfect unison behind the first, they formed a line, their metallic bodies reflecting a dazzling brilliance under the glow of the flames. In that moment, an unparalleled sense of security and visual impact swept over every individual present. This was no longer merely one Iron Man. This was a Legion of Steel. Had the lighthouse invaded? Or had we somehow crossed over from the lighthouse's PowerPoint presentations and science fiction films into a technological explosion? Chapter 246, The Iron Legion Mobilizes. Not a spark remains. The leading red-armored figure stepped forward, its metallic visor sliding upward to reveal the handsome face of Yi Bai. His gaze swiftly scanned the crowd before locking onto Xiao Ruyan, and he offered her a slight smile. "Principal Xiao, long time no see." Upon seeing that familiar face, Xiao Ruyan was momentarily taken aback. Then, an incandescent light burst forth from her previously despairing eyes. The tear stains on her face had yet to dry. Yet a radiant smile blossomed like a flower. "Yi Bai, it's you," she exclaimed excitedly. "I must rely on you, this great hero, once again. Leave it to me." Yi Bai nodded, refraining from further chatter. He sealed his visor once more, and his voice resonated through the loudspeakers across the entire playground. "Attention, everyone. Prepare to commence firefighting." Concurrently, in Yi Bai's live streaming room, the audience was thoroughly ignited by this sudden rescue operation. Wow, did the host receive an urgent mission? So cool. Wait. Look at those children. Despite the massive fire, not one of them is running around. They're all orderly gathering on the playground. Their quality is astonishing. Indeed, this kindergarten is impressive. The children are so well-behaved and clever. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Yi Bai, leading his Iron Legion, charged without hesitation toward the teaching building engulfed in flames. He boldly smashed through the laboratory's locked door, entering the heart of the inferno. Inside the laboratory, the temperature was terrifying, and the toxic gases produced by burning chemicals rendered the air lethally hazardous. Yet amidst this hellish landscape, Yi Bai keenly discerned a figure lying motionless in a corner. The individual lay on the ground, utterly still, having succumbed to the smoke. "There's someone inside." Yi Bai immediately issued commands to his comrades via the communicator. He dashed forward, scooping up the unconscious individual and swiftly exiting the laboratory, laying him down on the open ground of the playground. It was a middle-aged man, his face charred black from the flames and smoke, rendering his features unrecognizable. However, when the medical personnel approached to administer aid, a cigarette but fell from his mouth. Upon seeing this, everyone understood. Damn it, smoking again. Xiao Rian's body trembled with rage. Despite the numerous no-smoking signs plastered throughout the kindergarten, Some oblivious parents still sneaked away to smoke in corners. She never anticipated that today, as catastrophic fire had originated from a mere cigarette, but smoking in a laboratory filled with flammable and explosive chemicals. Was this person seeking death? This was sheer misfortune. In Yi Bai's live streaming room, viewers erupted in anger upon witnessing this. Unbelievable. I've never seen such a brainless person. Why smoke anywhere, let alone in a kindergarten? Not only that, you're smoking in a science laboratory. Are you trying to hasten your own demise or create chaos in the world? Why save such a person? Let him burn. After handing the culprit over to the medical personnel, Yi Bai did not linger for a moment, turning back to lead his Iron Legion courageously back into the flames. Identify all fire sources. Open fire freely. At Yi Bai's command, the 8 red armored suits simultaneously activated their firefighting systems. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. High-pressure dry powder fire extinguishing projectiles, as if guided by an unseen hand, accurately struck every burning point within the laboratory from various angles. Bang, bang, bang. The sounds of muffled explosions echoed incessantly, and an immense cloud of white dry powder erupted, forming an all-encompassing net of extinguishing foam that aggressively smothered the stubborn flames born of chemical reactions. The chemical fire, which ordinary firefighting hoses struggled to extinguish, appeared utterly feeble before this Iron Legion. In just a few fleeting minutes, the raging inferno that threatened to engulf the entire educational building was completely extinguished. A potential catastrophe was promptly nipped in the bud. As Yi Bai led his team out from the chaotic ruins, the kindergarten erupted in thunderous applause and cheers. Xiao Rian, filled with excitement, rushed forward, her eyes brimming with gratitude for the man before her, who seemed like a celestial being descended from the heavens. Yi Bai, thank you. Truly thank you. Her voice trembled with the relief of having survived a calamity. If it weren't for you today, I honestly wouldn't know what to do. This kindergarten is the fruit of all my labor. It was merely a trifling effort, Yi Bai replied with a smile, lifting his mask. No. Xiao Rian shook her head with unwavering determination. This is a debt of gratitude that has given me a new lease on life. Yi Bai, you must promise me that you won't leave tonight. Her gaze held an undeniable firmness that brooked no refusal, ignoring the presence of others. She took Yi Bai's hand and led him into her relatively intact office. The room still held a faint, sweet fragrance. Closing the door, she turned to Yi Bai and suddenly posed a seemingly unrelated question. Yi Bai, do you know why Confucius is referred to as the Great Sage? Caught off guard by her unexpected inquiry, Yi Bai instinctively replied, because he is the founder of Confucianism? Indeed, Xiao Rian said, a meaningful smile curling her lips. Confucius not only established Confucianism, but was also an eloquent speaker. As she spoke, she gracefully lifted her hand, arranging her silky long hair into an elegant bun with a delicate hairpin, revealing her swan-like neck. Then, before Yi Bai's eyes, she slowly removed her thin professional coat. As it slipped away, it revealed a black and white striped off-shoulder sweater beneath. The form-fitting garment struggled to contain her breathtaking curves, accentuating them to the fullest, radiating irresistible allure. Her lower half was clad in a form-fitting skirt that hugged her rounded hips, further amplifying her mature and alluring charm. Boom. Witnessing such a vivid and intoxicating scene, Yi Bai felt an inferno ignite within him, soaring skyward in an instant. Chapter 247, Bringing Mom and Dad Home. Is Yi Bai superfluous? That night was a night of madness. When the morning sun streamed through the slats of the blinds, casting dappled light across the office floor, Yi Bai slowly opened his eyes. For the first time after a battle, he sensed a profound fatigue emanating from within. He glanced at Xiao Rian, still peacefully asleep beside him. The beautiful contours of her face still bore the rosy hue from the previous night's fervor. Her lips slightly curled as if she were dreaming sweetly. Yi Bai never anticipated that this usually poised and graceful director could possess such fierce tenacity in certain aspects. The passion that had been suppressed for 30 years erupted like a torrent, nearly overwhelming him. And that was merely the extent of her eloquence. Yi Bai chuckled wryly, shaking his head, feeling a blend of anticipation and trepidation. What would it be like if they were to truly engage in a more intense encounter? After a simple wash-up, Yi Bai dressed quietly and slipped out of the office. Back at the Yinshao Auto Repair Shop, he immersed himself in the system, pondering what new products to develop next. The spicy fish head recipe was already sorted, and the red battle suit had been a resounding success. What should come next? With firefighting gear already in hand, wasn't it time to consider a firefighting mech? A bold idea flashed through Yi Bai's mind. Taking a step beyond exoskeleton armor, he envisioned creating a true, large-scale firefighting mech that could be piloted by a person, If such a contraption were to be realized, it would not only extinguish fires, but could also tear down buildings. Without hesitation, he commanded the system, consume 8 million shock points to independently develop the project, Heavy Firefighting Mech. Ding. Command received. Project established. Estimated development time, 72 hours. Ding. Detection of the host completing a high-value development project. Phase 2 laboratory upgrade progress has reached 15. Having arranged the new development project, Yibai glanced at the time. It was nearly time for his appointment with Long Hantian. Changing into casual attire, he made his way to the Southern Combat Zone Command Center. Under the guidance of a staff member, Yibai entered a solemn and austere office. An elderly man, clad in military garb and adorned with stars on his shoulders, radiated an imposing presence as he sat behind the desk, scrutinizing a document. Report, Commander. Comrade Yibai has arrived. The elder slowly raised his head, his sharp gaze settling upon Yibai. He was none other than Commander Peng of the Southern Combat Zone. Yibai? Though his tone was calm, it carried the weight of long-standing authority. Yes, Commander. Yibai immediately stood at attention and saluted. He had a bit of history with this man, after all, having stolen his goddaughter. Commander Peng rose, walked around the desk, and patted Yibai on the shoulder, a hint of approval breaking through his stern demeanor. Well done, young man. You have made significant contributions to our Southern Military District. He pointed to the screen beside them, which was displaying a video of the red battle suit in testing. What you have created here, with a few modifications, will serve as an excellent individual exoskeleton armor. With this, our Southern Military District will surely excel in the upcoming national military competition. The military competition? Yibai inquired with curiosity. Indeed, Commander Peng nodded. It is scheduled for the day after tomorrow, September 3rd. You will join us as a special technical advisor for our district. We are currently coordinating your travel arrangements with Qingbei University. It is my honor. Yibai straightened his posture, responding with enthusiasm. To participate in such a high-level military event was undoubtedly advantageous. Commander Peng nodded in satisfaction and then delivered a thrilling piece of news that made Yibai's heart race. I have another good piece of news for you. Your name has been unanimously approved by the Military District Standing Committee to enter the next officer promotion preparatory list. Work hard to strive for a glorious rank of Major before the start of the semester in September. Major. Yibai's mind buzzed with overwhelming joy. He understood what this meant. If he were to be promoted to Major, he would hold a significant position as a battalion officer in the military. This was an unprecedented honor for a college student who had yet to officially enroll. His cheeks flushed with excitement. He took a deep breath and saluted Commander Peng again with utmost seriousness. Rest assured, Commander, I will certainly strive to excel. Exiting the Southern Combat Zone Command Center, Yibai felt as if he were floating on air, as though he were treading upon clouds. Without delay, he hurried back to the Yunxiao Auto Repair Shop, gathering Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, who had also changed into elegant attire, and drove straight to the Huadu International Airport. According to the information from his uncle, his parents' flight was due to arrive around 3 in the afternoon. The trio arrived at the airport's international arrivals exit, filled with eager anticipation. However, as time passed, an hour turned into 2, and the passengers began to dwindle, yet the figures of Yibai's parents remained elusive. Boss, could it be that uncle and aunt missed their flight? Sun Ling asked with a hint of concern. That shouldn't be the case, Yibai replied, glancing at the flight information, which confirmed that it had indeed arrived on schedule. Just as he was about to make a call to inquire, Zhang Hongying, with keen eyes, suddenly pointed towards the exit and whispered, Yibai, look, is that uncle and aunt? Following her finger, Yibai beheld a pair of middle-aged individuals, seemingly in their 40s. Leisurely emerging from the exit, the man donned a casual linen shirt. Although fine lines graced the corners of his eyes, his youthful charm was still evident. Beside him, the woman wore an elegant floral long dress, and time appeared to have left only gentle traces upon her, her demeanor exuding grace and warmth. As they walked, they were engrossed in their own world, the man occasionally whispering sweet nothings that elicited delightful laughter from the woman, their display of affection rivaling that of young lovers. Dad! Mom! Yibai exclaimed excitedly, waving his hand. However, the couple seemed oblivious to his calls, lost in their intimate bubble. To his astonishment, in full view of onlookers, the man suddenly wrapped his arms around the woman's waist and leaned down to kiss her passionately. In the bustling airport hall, they commenced an ardent French kiss. Yibai, Sun Ling, and Zhang Hongying stood frozen in place, their expressions a mixture of disbelief and embarrassment. Yibai felt like a fool. After calling out to his parents, he found them merely a short distance away, indulging in an inappropriate display, completely disregarding his presence. At that moment, He felt an overwhelming sense of redundancy as their son. Chapter 248. Who is the biological one, may I ask? Observing that the kiss between his parents was intensifying and garnering more attention, Yi Bai could no longer bear it. With a resigned sigh, he stepped forward and wedged himself between them, forcibly separating the two. Ahem. This abrupt interruption finally brought Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxua back to reality from their romantic reverie. Upon seeing their son's face, which was etched with disbelief, and the two beautiful young women standing behind him, even their thick skins could not help but flush with embarrassment. Oh dear, when did you arrive, son? Lin Chuxua asked, feigning composure as she adjusted her hair. Her gaze then shifted to Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, an intrigued glimmer sparkling in her eyes. Are these the lovely friends you mentioned over the phone? Ah, no. I mean your younger sisters? Yes, Yi Bai replied weakly, nodding. Hello. Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying chimed in sweetly, stepping forward. Oh my, such sweet tongues. Lin Chuxua beamed at the sight of the two girls, warmly taking their hands. She rummaged through her bag and produced two thick, bulging red envelopes, which she promptly thrust into their hands. Come. Since it's our first meeting, Aunt didn't prepare anything extravagant. With a grin, she continued. Since you've addressed us as such, this little greeting gift cannot be meager. Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, taken aback by the extravagant gesture, quickly declined. Yi Bai, curious about his mother's lavish generosity, casually took one of the envelopes. Upon opening it, he nearly burst into tears. Instead of cash, it was filled with a dazzling array of jewelry, a large pink diamond ring, a lustrous pearl necklace, and a jade bracelet that exuded significant value. The worth of the items in this single envelope easily surpassed 300,000 to 400,000. He was their son. Throughout his life, this unreliable pair of parents had rarely gifted him anything beyond monetary transfers, let alone gifts. Yet now, they were presenting such opulent gifts to his younger sisters, highlighting the stark disparity in treatment. Mom, this is far too extravagant. We cannot accept this. Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying exclaimed, hands raised to refuse. Besides, brother hasn't received anything. Upon hearing this, Yi Nantian, who had been silently observing, finally cleared his throat and produced an envelope from his pocket. Extending it towards Yi Bai, Yi Bai's heart leaped with joy. Perhaps his father did care for him after all. Eagerly, he accepted the envelope and opened it, only to find no check or bank card, but instead, a neatly folded piece of rice paper. Unfolding it, he found 4 bold characters written in an elegant script. Heaven rewards diligence. Yi Bai. Yi Nantian, observing his son's frozen expression, wore a satisfied smile. He patted Yi Bai's shoulder and, in a serious tone, declared, Son, remember this. As the sole heir of the Yi and Lin families, wealth and material possessions are but fleeting illusions. The greatest gifts are of spirit, faith, and resolve. Gazing at the heaven rewards diligence in his hand, and then at the priceless jewels held by Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, Yi Bai felt an overwhelming weariness. He would have preferred $200. At least he could treat himself to a decent meal. However, he also recognized that he was not in dire need of money and chose not to be upset over such trivial matters with his unreliable parents. All right, Mom and Dad. Let us not linger in the airport any longer. I'll take you to see my auto repair shop. I currently have a staggering 80 million in cash. Oh, is that so? We must see it. Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxua expressed interest. Thus, they all departed in 2 vehicles, with Yi Bai driving alongside Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, while Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxua followed in the other car. However, as they neared the auto repair shop, Yi Bai noticed his parents' car was missing. Growing concerned, he decided to make a video call. As soon as the video connected, Yi Bai was greeted by the sight of his mother, Lin Chuxua, seated in an antiquated clinic adorned with walls lined with banners proclaiming her miraculous healing prowess. Mom, why are you at a Chinese medicine hospital? Yi Bai asked, bewildered. Oh dear, it's just that traveling by plane recently has been exhausting. Lin Chuxua replied nonchalantly. I asked your dad to bring me here to purchase some herbal medicine for a good health boost. At that moment, an elderly traditional Chinese doctor in a white coat approached, carrying a large bag of medicinal herbs, and said to Lin Chuxua, Madam, here are the deer antlers, bull's tendons, sheep's tendons, and horse tendons you requested. Yi Bai, he stared in astonishment at the video, his mind reeling at the sight of the masculine herbs alongside his mother's serious demeanor. Mom, you're a woman. Are you seriously going to consume those for health? What is this supplementing exactly? Feeling too exasperated to argue, he weakly urged, hurry and come back. Uncle and the others are waiting for dinner at home. Yet, it was only as dusk began to settle that Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxua finally arrived. Not only did they come, but they also brought several large shopping bags. Mom, Did you go shopping again? What did you buy? Yi Bai approached to take the bags, feeling their weight. Alas, upon seeing two such beautiful goddaughters, I couldn't resist buying them some fashionable attire suited for young ladies, Lin Chuxue remarked with a cheerful smile. She opened the bag, revealing an array of trendy, lovely dresses and outfits. Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying's eyes sparkled with delight, clearly enamored by the gifts. As the two excitedly sifted through the clothing, several folded pieces of fabric inadvertently tumbled out from the pile. Yi Bai instinctively bent down to retrieve them, and upon unfolding, he froze in shock. These were unmistakably a few pieces of risque lingerie, lace, straps, and even one with an open crotch. Yi Bai's face darkened instantly as he held up the scanty garments, confronting Lin Chuxue. Mom, how could you buy such things? Oh, this? Lin Chuxue glanced over, unperturbed and with a calm demeanor. These are for your father. Saying this, she snatched the items from Yi Bai's grasp and casually handed them to Yi Nantian. Witnessing this scene, Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying's cheeks flushed crimson, akin to ripe apples, as they dared not lift their heads, let alone glance at Yi Bai. Yet, their wildly racing hearts and furtive glances towards Yi Bai, filled with anticipation and bashfulness, betrayed their innermost thoughts. Chapter 249. There exists a kind of poverty, one that parents perceive in you to demonstrate his current capabilities. Yi Bai brought his parents to his office, unveiling the company's financial system. Dad, Mom, take a look. These are the recent transactions. The figures are staggering, with total revenue reaching several hundred million. Moreover, our company currently has a cash flow of 80 million. Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxue leaned in closer, observing the astonishing numbers on the screen, their expressions revealing a hint of surprise. However, this surprise quickly transformed into understanding and satisfaction. They exchanged glances, comprehending the same sentiment. Their son had matured, applied himself diligently, and even produced such realistic financial statements to prove himself. Quite impressive. Yi Nantian patted Yi Bai's shoulder, offering a perfunctory compliment. Remarkable. My son is indeed a promising individual. Lin Chuxue added with a smile. Indeed, achieving such splendid results in under 2 months, he truly is our son. Nevertheless, their ambiguous attitude clearly indicated their skepticism regarding Yi Bai's ability to accumulate such wealth in such a short span. To soothe her son's eager heart, Lin Chuxue produced a bank card from her bag and presented it to Yi Bai. Son, this is your allowance. The password is your birthday. There's 5 million in it. Use it as you wish, and if it's not enough, just let me know. 5 million. Yi Bai accepted the card, elated. This was a substantial allowance, too good to refuse. Yet, upon reflection, he felt a sense of discontent. The reason his parents bestowed such a sum upon him stemmed from their disbelief in his earning capabilities. This simply wouldn't do. Dad, Mom, I'm telling the truth. Yi Bai exclaimed in desperation, pulling Sun Ling closer. If you don't believe me, you can ask Ling Er. She's been with me every step of the way. She knows exactly what I've done. Dad, what he says is true. Sun Ling quickly corroborated. He modified cranes that can even lift stranded cargo ships. Later, he transformed cars that could drive on water, racing taxis that could keep up with supercars, and created a Maserati that could dive underwater. He even modified military vehicles for complete invisibility and the Strategic Lynx vehicle. Not to mention that trailer capable of towing 30 vehicles and the excavator from Transformers. He even adapted a flying ambulance for Grandpa. By the way, just the other day, he modified a Wuling Mini. The one that went viral online with the spicy fish head. We accidentally entered a racing event and ended up winning the national championship. However, after hearing this, Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxue exchanged knowing glances before breaking into applause. Lin Chuxue looked at Sun Ling, her eyes brimming with admiration. Your storytelling is vivid and captivating, filled with twists and turns, and your imagination is truly remarkable. In my opinion, you should consider becoming a novelist instead of following my son into automotive repair. You would surely succeed. Yi Bai nearly spat out blood upon hearing this. He had completely given up. With a resigned sigh, he pulled the equally exasperated Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying back to his room, shutting the door to shield himself from the world. Come, let us play cards. Losers were sticky notes on their faces. It wasn't until dinner that Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxue saw their precious son emerge from his room, his face plastered with white paper notes, looking utterly defeated. As night fell, the family headed to the prestigious Tianhao Hotel in Huadu for a long-planned family gathering. Upon their arrival at the private room, their relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, had largely assembled. As soon as they spotted Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxue, they eagerly surrounded them. Ah, Nantian, Chuxue. It's about time you returned. It's such a monumental occasion that your son, Yi Bai has been accepted into Qingbei. How could you not host a celebration? You've kept this from us. Indeed, Yi Bai has truly made us proud, being the first in the Yi family to attend such a prestigious institution. In the face of their relatives' compliments and congratulatory remarks, Yi Nantian merely waved modestly. Oh, it's nothing. My son's achievements pale in comparison to my own past. They are hardly worth mentioning. Speaking of which, isn't Wenjie from my third brother's family now an executive at Huawei Group, earning several million a year? Now that's commendable. And what about Jingjing from my second sister's family? I've heard she graduated from Newton University and is now pursuing her doctorate at Cambridge, one of the world's top institutions. By the way, what about that chubby boy from my eldest aunt's family? What was his name? Ah, right, Leon. Didn't he go to Stanford to study artificial intelligence? That's truly the future. His words, seemingly praising others' children, were in fact veiled boasts about his own son's admission to the nation's top university. The relatives he mentioned wore smiles, but their hearts were transparent as glass. Ah, brother, let us not bring that up. One uncle waved dismissively. Wenjie's position was secured through his father-in-law's connections, unlike your Yi Bai, who earned his place at Qingbei through sheer talent. Exactly. Another aunt chimed in. Everyone knows we sponsored Jingjing's admission to Newton. It cannot be compared to Yi Bai's merit. Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxue were overjoyed at this exchange, laughing heartily. Just then, the door to the room swung open, and Xiao Yunshan entered with his daughter. Upon seeing Xiao Yunshan, Yi Nantian immediately greeted him warmly. Yunshan, we are immensely grateful for your help during our absence. You've taken such good care of Yi Bai. Brother, you flatter me. Xiao Yunshan waved his hand, his face displaying a mix of relief and genuine gratitude. If anyone should be thankful, it's me. If it weren't for Yi Bai, my daughter might not have made it through yesterday's kindergarten fire. As he spoke, he recounted the dramatic tale of how Yi Bai, like a divine savior, descended in his steel armor, extinguishing the flames and rescuing everyone, embellishing the narrative with a touch of theatrical flair. Not only that, but he also recounted how Yi Bai had helped him modify his car. After listening to Xiao Yunshan's narrative, the relatives in the private room fell silent, casting incredulous glances at Yi Bai, as if he were an extraterrestrial. Meanwhile, Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxue felt their smiles gradually fade, sensing something amiss. If only Sun Ling had made such claims, they could dismiss it as a young girl's vivid imagination. Yet now, even their most reliable brother-in-law, Xiao Yunshan, was echoing the same sentiments with such conviction. Chapter 250. The esteemed guest, Secretary de Kong, sends his regards to Yi Bai just as doubts began to swirl in Yi Nantian and Lin Chuxue's minds. There was another knock at the door of the private room. A server opened the door, revealing a young woman clad in a high-end dress, exuding an air of noble elegance. None other than Jiang Chumo, the heiress of Wuling Hongguang. Excuse me for the interruption, Jiang Chumo said, her gaze sweeping across the room before finally resting on Yi Bai. Yi Bai, I've come to discuss a business matter with you. Is this a convenient time? Her arrival instantly captivated the attention of everyone in the room, particularly the younger male relatives, whose eyes widened in astonishment. Lin Chuxue's curiosity was piqued as she scrutinized the distinguished young woman, smiling as she inquired, Young lady, what business do you wish to discuss with our Yi Bai? Hello. Auntie, Jiang Chumo greeted politely. It's regarding the production line for chopped chili fish heads. You may not be aware, but Yi Bai is an extraordinarily talented automotive modification master. As she spoke, Jiang Chumo recounted how she had come to know Yi Bai and how he transformed an unremarkable Wuling Hongguang Mini into a vehicle that not only went viral online, but also clinched the national racing championship. Upon hearing Jiang Chumo's account, Lin Chuxue was utterly astonished. While she had remained skeptical of Sun Ling and Xiao Yunshan's earlier remarks, the fact that even the daughter of the Jiang family had personally come to discuss business and that her narrative aligned seamlessly with the previous versions left her no room for doubt. Could it be that her son's claims were not fabricated? Had he truly amassed billions in mere months through his own capabilities? She immediately pulled Yi Nantian aside into a corner, whispering her suspicions to him. After listening, Yi Nantian was equally incredulous. Observing his son animatedly conversing with Jiang Chumo made him feel as if he had never truly known the boy. By the way, Yi Nantian seemed to recall something, lowering his voice as he spoke to Lin Chuxue. Let us not dwell on this too much. I have something important to tell you. Secretary de Kong will be joining us shortly. What? Secretary de Kong is coming? Lin Chuxue gasped in surprise. I heard he has already been earmarked as the district committee secretary for the Jinghai district in the capital. This is a massive opportunity. Why would he attend our family gathering? I cannot say for certain. However, he is a future big shot. and we must ensure we give him a proper welcome without any semblance of negligence. Having reached a consensus, they returned to the private room. Yi Nantian cleared his throat and announced to the assembled relatives, "Everyone, I have wonderful news. Soon, Secretary Dekong from the Municipal Committee will join us for a meal." This revelation detonated like a bomb, sending shockwaves throughout the room. What? Secretary Dekong is coming. Good heavens. He is the future secretary of Jinghai District, a true magnate. Nantian, your family has quite the clout. All the relatives, initially stunned, displayed excitement and anticipation. This indicated that Yi Nanshan's family, along with their entire clan, was poised for greater heights. In a flurry, everyone began to tidy themselves up, preparing to extend a grand welcome to this future dignitary. "Yi Bai, what are you doing? Come here." Amidst the commotion, while all the relatives hurried out, Yi Bai remained seated, showing no inclination to move. Lin Shuxue approached him immediately, seizing his arm. "Mom, I really don't want to go," Yi Bai said, a hint of reluctance in his voice. "Nonsense. What do you mean you won't go?" Lin Shuxue shot him a glare, her tone brooking no argument. "You must accompany me to the front to personally greet him. It's a matter of courtesy, do you understand?" With that, she firmly dragged Yi Bai to the entrance of the hotel, positioning him at the very front of the welcoming party. Before long, a stately red flag National Joy minibus came to a gradual stop outside the Tianhao Hotel. "Look, it's the flag National Joy," an informed relative exclaimed in hushed tones. "This is a vehicle exclusively for leaders. It's bulletproof and explosion-resistant, extremely durable. Secretary Dekong arriving in such a vehicle is quite impressive." As the crowd awaited with anticipation and awe, the door of the vehicle opened slowly. Dekong, clad in a crisp Zhongshan suit, stepped out with spirited composure. "Welcome, Secretary Dekong." "Good day, Secretary Dekong." Yi Nantian, Xiao Yunshan, and others rushed forward, beaming with smiles, while the relatives applauded warmly. However, Dekong merely nodded politely at the crowd, his eyes scanning the gathering as if searching for someone. When his gaze finally settled on Yi Bai, who stood at the front looking somewhat reluctant, his expression shifted dramatically. In the next moment, to the astonishment of everyone present, this soon-to-be promoted secretary sprinted through the crowd, making a beeline for Yi Bai. "Ah, Comrade Yi Bai, I finally found you," Dekong exclaimed, reaching Yi Bai and clasping both his hands with an attitude that bordered on reverence. This scene left everyone, including Yi Nantian, Lin Shuxue, and all the relatives in a state of bewilderment. What on earth was happening? The future secretary of Jinghai District was addressing their son, or nephew, with such familiarity and respect. Yi Bai regarded the overly enthusiastic Dekong with a calm demeanor, withdrawing his hands and placing them in his pockets. "I thought you had risen to a position where you wouldn't recognize someone of my humble stature." "Not at all. How could I forget?" Dekong replied, beads of perspiration forming on his forehead. "I know you're about to attend Tsinghua and Peking University. I came here in advance to pave the way for you and establish connections, ensuring you won't face any difficulties upon your arrival." At these words, the room fell into an eerie silence. The sound of a pin dropping could be heard. Everyone's minds seemed to be struck by lightning, rendered momentarily paralyzed. They gaped at Yi Bai with wide eyes, their thoughts swirling in a tumultuous storm. Good heavens, just how remarkable was this young man? Chapter 251, So Young, and soon to be a major? Yi Nantian and Lin Shuxue stood in the crowd, utterly dumbfounded. Witnessing this spectacle felt surreal, as if they were caught in a dream. Their son, whom they had always seen as someone needing their financial support and guidance for the future, was now being so carefully courted by the soon-to-be promoted Secretary Dekong. What on earth is happening here? Well, this is a family gathering, and it seems rather inappropriate for an outsider to intrude, doesn't it? Yi Bai observed Dekong's anxious demeanor and waved his hand in slight annoyance. Yes, of course. It is indeed inappropriate," Dekong replied, not only devoid of displeasure, but appearing as if he had received a royal decree. "Then I shall not disturb your refined gathering. I will wait outside, Comrade Yi Bai. Should you require anything, feel free to summon me." With that, he genuinely stepped aside. At this moment, everyone was utterly bewildered. If Dekong's earlier deference towards Yi Bai had astonished them, his current almost servile posture rendered their minds completely unable to comprehend the situation. In a strangely eerie yet tranquil atmosphere, the crowd ushered Yi Bai, still in a daze, back into the private room. As soon as he sat down, all the relatives could no longer contain their curiosity and astonishment and flocked around him. "Xiao Bai, what in the world is going on? What is your relationship with Secretary Dekong? Goodness, how did you manage this? Even Secretary Dekong holds you in such regard." Faced with the barrage of questions, Yi Bai realized that if he did not clarify the matter today, there would be no way to proceed. He sighed and briefly recounted how he had indirectly or directly assisted Dekong through car modifications, resolving numerous significant issues for the entire city. His tone was calm, yet the relatives present listened with hearts racing and mouths agape. At that moment, a young cousin, currently in university, suddenly slapped his thigh in excitement and exclaimed, "I remember now. I thought that was you. I saw that video of the champion fish head dish on Douyin, and the Iron Man saving people from a fire. I thought the protagonist looked just like my cousin. I even told my parents, but they insisted I was mistaken. Yes. I also came across that video of the Wolf Warrior off-road vehicle. I thought the modifications were incredible. I had no idea it was you, cousin." Another cousin chimed in. With their reminders, the relatives instantly connected Yi Bai's narrative with the sensational events they had previously witnessed online. My heavens. So all those astounding feats online were accomplished by Yi Bai? Transforming a vehicle into a transformer, winning national accolades with the fish head dish, and even creating an armored suit to extinguish fires? This is nothing short of miraculous. Moreover, observing the awe in their gazes akin to that of viewing a deity, Yi Bai decided to stoke the flames further. Some of the vehicles I modified have attracted the attention of the military due to their exceptional performance, and I have been incorporated into their ranks. I currently hold the rank of captain and am soon to be promoted to a senior officer. Captain, and soon to be a senior officer. If the previous revelations had merely shocked the relatives, the utterance of captain and senior officer from Yi Bai's lips left the private room filled with gasps of astonishment. Extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. My goodness, Yi Bai. You are destined for greatness. The relatives struggled to find words that could encapsulate their current emotions. An 18-year-old student from Qingbei with a fortune in the hundreds of millions. Now also a captain in the military on the verge of becoming a major? This was a resume no protagonist would dare to pen. However, while all the relatives were utterly enamored by Yi Bai's accomplishments, Yinan Tian and Lin Chu Shui, after overcoming their initial shock, furrowed their brows once more. They acknowledged their son was indeed talented and had achieved remarkable feats. But was this boasting not a tad excessive? An 18-year-old captain? What an international joke. Throughout history, there has never been such a case. Not to mention the prospect of ascending to a senior officer's position. It was inconceivable to appoint a child who hadn't even entered university to such a role. Unthinkable. Absolutely impossible. Their son must be exaggerating to gain their admiration after sensing their disbelief. With this thought, Yinan Tian and Lin Chu Shui exchanged glances, both catching a hint of helplessness in each other's eyes. Yet, regardless of their skepticism, the other relatives were thoroughly captivated by Yi Bai at this moment. Nantian, your family is about to produce a true dragon. From now on, our little rascals must take Yi Bai as their role model. They ought to learn from him. In an instant, Yi Bai became the epitome of excellence in the eyes of all his relatives, a revered idol for younger siblings. After the family gathering concluded, Yi Bai approached the door of the private room and waved to Dekong, who stood like a sentinel. All right, come in. Ah, certainly. Dekong promptly hurried inside. Dad, Mom, please wait outside for a moment. I need to discuss some serious matters with Secretary Dekong. Yi Bai instructed his parents. Though filled with confusion, Yinan Tian and Lin Chu Shui nodded, and, along with Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, settled in the waiting area outside the room. Inside, only Yi Bai and Dekong remained. The smile on Dekong's face vanished instantly, replaced by an unprecedented seriousness and solemnity. Comrade Yi Bai, I have come not only to express my gratitude, but also to convey a directive from above requesting your assistance. What kind of assistance? Modification of this Hongqi Guiwei. Dekong pointed to the minibus parked at the hotel entrance, his eyes brimming with anticipation. The directive is to hope you can conduct a comprehensive upgrade and transformation. Additionally, I was instructed to convey that if you successfully complete this task, the next vehicle awaiting you will exceed your wildest imagination. Upon hearing this, Yi Bai's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't help but gasp. The Hongqi Guiwei. This was a vehicle of leadership caliber. An incredibly clear yet overwhelming answer flashed in his mind, rendering him both shocked and exhilarated. He was almost certain that this time he was genuinely tasked with modifying a vehicle for a leader. Chapter 252. 2 more first-class merits? All right, I accept this task. Faced with such a significant commission, Yi Bai exhibited no hesitation and readily agreed. This was not merely a task, but an unparalleled honor. However, the modification of the Hongqi Guiwei might require a slight delay. Oh, is there some difficulty? Dekong inquired nervously. Not particularly, Yi Bai explained. I must travel to the Southern Military District tomorrow to assist in modifying a batch of military vehicles in preparation for the upcoming military competition. This task was personally assigned by Commander Pong, so I must prioritize the military matters. Now I understand. No problem. No problem. De Kong immediately relaxed upon learning it was Commander Peng's command. Military affairs take precedence. Focus on your duties there. We are in no rush. You can start whenever you are free. As he spoke, he took out his phone and began to operate it. Shortly after, Yi Bai received a bank notification on his phone. Dear user, your account ending in XXXX received a deposit of 10,000,000 yuan on September 2nd at 21:30. Your current balance is 90,000,000 yuan. Comrade Yi Bai, this is a 10 million yuan deposit for you to accept. The subsequent materials and expenses can be mentioned at any time. We will certainly do our utmost to ensure it, Da Kong remarked. Looking at the substantial balance of 90 million in his account, Yi Bai felt a surge of joy within. After bidding farewell to Da Kong, Yi Bai returned to his parents. Dad, Mom, I might need to visit the military tomorrow to assist in modifying a batch of vehicles. I expect to be away for several days. He informed them of his itinerary. Yi Nantian and Lin Chu-shui were momentarily taken aback. Going to the military? Modifying military vehicles? They realized, in light of recent events, that they were increasingly bewildered by their son. After a moment of contemplation, Lin Chu-shui spoke. Since you'll be gone for several days, this is a good opportunity. While you're still here today, let us make a trip back to our hometown and take Ling Er and Hong Ying to see your grandfather. After visiting him, you can head to the military. Visiting grandfather? Yi Bai nodded in agreement. The next morning, the five of them set off in their car on the journey back to their hometown. The atmosphere in the vehicle was somewhat delicate. Yi Nantian and Lin Chu-shui exchanged glances, hesitating to speak, until Lin Chu-shui finally broke the silence. Son, tell me the truth. When did you become so remarkable? She gazed at Yi Bai, her eyes filled with complex emotions. This question had lingered in their hearts for quite some time. They had experienced too many shocks recently and were eager to understand when their son had undergone such a remarkable transformation unbeknownst to them. Yi Bai merely smiled faintly. I've always been this remarkable. It's just that you've never truly recognized it. Or perhaps you've subconsciously chosen not to believe it from the very beginning. The couple fell silent, exchanging a bittersweet glance. Could it be that they had indeed underestimated their son all along? After several hours of driving, they finally arrived at the Yi family's ancestral home. The last time they had returned, it was Yi Bai who had helped the old man modify his beloved vehicle. Grandfather, Yi Bai exclaimed joyfully upon entering. Hearing his voice, Yi Yunxiao slowly lifted his head, and upon seeing his beloved grandson, a broad smile spread across his wrinkled face. Ah, my eldest grandson has returned. Quickly, let me have a look. He excitedly stood up and grasped Yi Bai's hands, scrutinizing him from head to toe, as if afraid that his precious grandson was missing a piece. His gaze then shifted to the two girls behind Yi Bai. Oh, who are these two young ladies? Grandfather, this is my sworn sister, Sun Ling, and Zhang Hong Ying, Yi Bai introduced. Sworn sister? Yi Yunxiao's eyes widened in surprise, followed by a hearty laugh. What sworn sister? With those looks and that affection, they are clearly my two granddaughters-in-law. Two of them. Wonderful. The more he looked, the more pleased he became, grinning from ear to ear. Such beautiful girls are my granddaughters-in-law. How splendid. Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying blushed at his words, but still approached him obediently, shyly greeting, Hello, grandfather. Ah, good, good. Yi Yunxiao was overjoyed at their address, holding the hands of the two girls with immense delight. My eldest grandson is truly accomplished. Far better than your unworthy father. He glanced at Yi Nantian, his expression unmistakably one of disdain. It seemed he had forgotten his son in light of his grandson's achievements. Yi Nantian, upon hearing this, felt a wave of discontent wash over him. He stepped forward, clearly displeased. Dad, how am I not accomplished? I'm the CEO of a billion-dollar corporation now. How can you say I'm not accomplished? CEO of a billion-dollar corporation? Yi Yunxiao scoffed, lifting his teacup and leisurely blowing the leaves on the surface. And what of it? Can you secure a separate page for your name in the Yi family genealogy? In the Yi family, only those who made monumental contributions capable of bringing glory to the clan and leaving a mark in history were deemed worthy of such an honor. Yi Nantian was momentarily taken aback, rendered speechless. While he had achieved success, he was far from meeting that standard. Nevertheless, he retorted, Well, can't you? I cannot. Yi Yunxiao replied, placing the teacup down, his face radiating pride. He then pointed at Yi Bai. But my eldest grandson can. What? Both Yi Nantian and Lin Chu-shui gasped in shock, eyes wide. Is that true? Yi Yunxiao did not answer, but instead turned and walked into the inner room. Moments later, he carefully returned, cradling two gleaming boxes. Before everyone, he slowly opened the boxes. Inside lay two shining military medals, radiating honor and prestige. The engraved designs and inscriptions boldly proclaimed first-class merit. Yin and Tian stared at the two medals that would make any soldier envious, utterly dumbfounded. When had his son quietly achieved such a monumental feat? This was indeed astonishing. Even witnessing it firsthand, he struggled to believe it, trembling as he pointed at the medals. These are Yi Bai's. Indeed. Yi Yunxiao beamed with pride at his son's astonished expression. He gingerly placed the medals back in their boxes, treasuring them dearly. These were personally awarded to my dear grandson by Major General Long Handan of the Southern Military District. Absolutely authentic. Upon hearing this, Yin and Tian was left utterly speechless. The weight of military honor, especially two first-class medals, far surpassed any title of a mere billion-dollar corporation in the eyes of the traditional elders in the Yi family. From this day forward, his son's standing within the family would likely surpass his own as the father. Contemplating this, Yin and Tian felt a mix of emotions, both amused and incredulous. After returning to their room, Yin and Tian and Lin Chu Shui sought out Yi Bai privately. They exchanged glances. And it was Lin Chu Shui who spoke first, her eyes filled with remorse. Son, we truly underestimated you before. We apologize. Yin and Tian sighed, his face serious in a manner he had never shown before. However, from now on, you must never engage in such dangerous endeavors again. Do you understand? You are the sole heir of both the Yi and Lin families. You absolutely cannot come to harm. Lin Chu Shui chimed in. Exactly. And no joining the military. It's far too perilous. Moreover, if you enlist, you won't be able to inherit the family business. Why must I inherit? Yi Bai looked at his parents' anxious expressions, questioning. Can't I create a trillion-dollar corporation on my own? A trillion-dollar corporation? Yin and Tian chuckled bitterly, shaking his head. Son, do you think it's that easy to establish a trillion-dollar enterprise? He paused, seemingly lost in distant memories. You know, when your mother and I first got together, I was just a poor boy with a net worth of millions. Although our families had a betrothal agreement, in the face of such a vast disparity in strength, that agreement was nothing more than a scrap of paper. It was your mother, against the opposition of everyone in her family, who insisted on being with me. And that led to your birth. In order to be worthy of her and to gain the respect of the Lin family, I exerted every effort to establish my own enterprise, which ultimately led to the creation of a billion-dollar conglomerate. Yet even so, a hint of profound helplessness resonated in Yi Nanshan's voice. To them, I am merely someone who is slightly acknowledged. After all, your mother's Lin Corporation boasts a total asset of 600 billion. Their connections in the capital are extensive and intricate. They are a family that truly stands at the pinnacle of society. You must have heard of the 4 prominent families of the capital, right? Yi Nantian gazed at Yi Bai, articulating a shocking secret capable of shattering his understanding. One of them is your grandfather's family, the Lin family. That is the true aristocracy. Understanding dawned upon Yi Bai. He finally comprehended why his parents held such high, even excessively stringent, expectations of him. He now understood their relentless insistence on his inheriting what seemed like a distant family business. It was not that they loved him any less, on the contrary. Their love was profound, accompanied by an equal measure of fear. The overwhelming presence of his mother's family was so dazzling and formidable that its brilliance could scorch anyone who dared to approach without sufficient strength. If he, the nominal heir, was not outstanding or powerful enough, what awaited him would not be blessings and glory, but the unending disdain, oppression, and calamities capable of crushing him, emanating from that colossal family. This was a harsh reality, an inescapable resignation. Yi Bai looked at his parents with an unprecedented clarity in his eyes. Dad, Mom, rest assured. One day, I shall compel that so-called Lin family to bow before me. Sighing, Yi Nantian observed his son's confident demeanor and shook his head helplessly. His voice bore the weight of experience. He believed his son did not yet grasp the significance of what he was saying, nor the terrifying power represented by that name. Son, that is the Lin family, one of the few families that truly stand at the top of this nation's hierarchy. Unless you become the wealthiest person in the world, wielding riches that can rival nations, or you become a formidable general, commanding immense authority that demands their respect, they will not even deign to acknowledge you, let alone curry favor with you. The wealthiest person in the world? A general? Yi Bai chuckled softly, his smile devoid of arrogance, radiating a sense of inevitability. Dad, to me, neither of those seems particularly challenging. It merely requires some time. Upon hearing his son's words, Yi Nantian felt utterly speechless. He assumed his son was merely youthful and ambitious, comforting himself with such thoughts, and chose not to say more. After all, he too had once been similar in age. What would a young person be if not vigorous and proud? Should they have to act like an elder at such a tender age? If that were the case, he would be even more concerned. Just have this ambition. In any case, work hard. Your mother and I will support you. If it truly becomes unfeasible, you can always return and live as a carefree, wealthy gentleman, and there is nothing wrong with that. I have my own career and aspirations. Yi Bai did not elaborate further. In the face of absolute reality, any words seemed futile. He would prove everything through his actions. After concluding this profoundly significant conversation with his parents, the family set off back to Huadu. Upon returning to the Yunxiao Auto Repair Factory, Yi Bai immediately immersed himself in the system to review his gains. Following the previous live stream and its subsequent online repercussions, the shock value experienced a surge, breaking through the 50 million mark. Seeing the substantial balance of 50 million, Yi Bai nodded in satisfaction. With this considerable sum, the upcoming plans could be executed smoothly. Without delay, after ensuring his family was settled, he set off alone, driving swiftly towards the southern military district. Previously, he had been unable to proceed due to insufficient shock value, but now that he had enough, he needed to act promptly, especially after learning about the Lin family. Wasn't he just a general? Wasn't he just the wealthiest person in the world? Come on. It was merely a matter of modifying a few vehicles for the military. Even without this situation, he would have made those modifications. Now it was simply a proactive effort to gain more. Chapter 254, Modifying and Upgrading Anti-Tank Infantry Fighting Vehicles. During the journey to the southern military district, Yi Bai did not idly pass the time. While driving, he fully immersed himself in the system interface within his mind. System. Aim to breach the frontal armor of the current strongest 99A main battle tank, and devise the ultimate modification plan. Ding. Command received. Proceeding with plan simulation. Simulation complete. Generating modular modification plan. Main weapon module. Thor electromagnetic railgun. Summary. Remove the existing 100mm main gun and replace it with a Gauss coil accelerated electromagnetic railgun. Utilizing a powerful instantaneous current to generate Lorentz force, it will launch specially designed tungsten core armor-piercing projectiles at speeds exceeding 10 times the speed of sound, with kinetic energy sufficient to penetrate any known armor on Earth. Estimated shock value required for exchange, 20,000,000. Secondary weapon module, furnace plasma incineration ray. Summary. Install 2 compact plasma generators on either side of the turret. These can instantaneously heat inert gases to tens of thousands of degrees Celsius, creating high-temperature plasma jets to deliver devastating incineration strikes against enemy infantry, light armored units, and fortifications. Estimated shock value required for exchange, 15,000,000. Defense module, Divine Shield Quantum Phase Composite Armor. Summary. Cover the exterior of the vehicle with 3 layers of composite armor. The first layer is a nano-level optical camouflage coating, achieving perfect optical invisibility based on environmental changes. The second layer is a non-Newtonian fluid layer, exceeding the hardness of steel upon impact. The third layer is a piezoelectric ceramic matrix, capable of converting most impact energy into electrical energy for storage to power the weapon system. Estimated shock value required for exchange, 10,000,000. Power and mobility module, Thunder Electric Drive Hybrid Power System. Summary. Replace with a high-power electric motor and optimize the suspension system to achieve extreme speed and off-road capability comparable to a sports car. Estimated shock value required for exchange, 3,000,000. Fire control and auxiliary module. Estimated shock value required for exchange, 1,000,000. Exchange. All exchanges. Yi Bai, gazing at this extraordinarily ambitious modification plan, chose to confirm without hesitation. Ding. All plans have been exchanged, consuming a total of 49,000,000 shock value. Generating detailed design blueprints and construction plans. Plans have been output. A vast array of highly intricate blueprints and data instantaneously flooded into Yi Bai's mind. When he arrived at the southern military district, Long Hantian had long been waiting at the entrance with a large group of technical experts and engineers. Yi Bai wasted no words, directly handing over the prepared USB drive to the head of the military factory. All the design blueprints and technical parameters were contained within. Immediately organized personnel to commence modifications according to the blueprints. For the next 3 to 4 days, the military factory in the southern military district entered a state of near madness, working around the clock. Hundreds of top engineers and technical personnel, under Yi Bai's direct command, conducted a transformative overhaul of the infantry fighting vehicle. Finally, on the evening of the 4th day, the modifications were completed. Ding. Detected that the host has completed the D-level modification project. Ding. Detected that the host has accumulated completed modification projects, and the system upgrade progress has reached 810. Congratulations to the host for receiving a reward. 5 free attribute points. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the reward. Special Forces Combat Skills, Mastery. Without hesitation, Yi Bai allocated all 5 attribute points to strength. A warm current instantly coursed through his limbs, and he could distinctly feel his muscles becoming more taut at a visibly accelerated pace. As he casually clenched his fist, his joints crackled with explosive sounds. Simultaneously, an overwhelming torrent of combat techniques and lethal skills surged into his mind like a data flood. In an instant, he mastered all the mainstream fighting styles in the world, seamlessly integrating them into a terrifying instinct solely designed for the most efficient slaughter. Well done, kid. While Yi Bai was reveling in his physical transformation, a large hand, akin to a fan, heavily patted his shoulder. However, the moment that hand made contact, Yi Bai instinctively reacted. Without a moment's thought, his body was already in motion. With a swift sidestep, he evaded the strike while his right hand, like a vice, firmly grasped the opponent's wrist. Following that, his left hand executed a precise maneuver to lock the opponent's elbow joint. With a sudden shift of his waist, his body sank down powerfully. The entire series of counter-grappling actions unfolded in the blink of an eye. Ouch! A familiar exclamation echoed in Yi Bai's ears. He then focused his gaze and was astonished to find that the person he had pinned to the ground, unable to move, was none other than Long Hantian. Commander Long? What brings you here? Yi Bai exclaimed in surprise, quickly releasing his grip and helping Long Hantian to his feet. Kid you. Long Hantian rubbed his arm, which had nearly been dislocated, but instead of anger, his eyes sparkled with excitement as he looked at Yi Bai. Impressive. I didn't expect you to not only excel in research, but also be a top-tier martial artist. Come on, enough chit-chat. Let's see who's better. As he spoke, Long Hantian took a fighting stance. Wait, Commander Long. I'm afraid I might not hold back, Yi Bai replied somewhat helplessly. Let's talk. Here comes the attack, Long Hantian shouted, launching a powerful straight punch towards Yi Bai's face. The force of this punch was tremendous. Even an ordinary Special Forces soldier might struggle to react in time. Yet, to Yi Bai, the punch moved with the sluggishness of a snail. He simply took a half step to the left, effortlessly dodging the blow. In the very moment Long Hantian's old strength was exhausted and new strength had yet to arise, Yi Bai sprang into action. His right hand struck like a venomous serpent, wrapping around Long Hantian's arm at an astonishing angle, and he effortlessly redirected it. Long Hantian felt a subtle force surge through him, and his immense strength seemed to dissipate into thin air, causing his weight to tilt forward uncontrollably. Startled, he attempted to stabilize himself, but Yi Bai was already one step ahead. Utilizing his foot as an axis, Yi Bai spun like a top, swiftly positioning himself behind Long Hantian. His left elbow struck like a battering ram, landing precisely on Long Hantian's lower back. Ugh! Long Hantian felt a sharp pang of soreness radiate through his back, as if all his strength had been siphoned away in an instant. His legs weakened, and he stumbled forward uncontrollably. Quick as lightning, Yi Bai extended his hand to prevent him from falling flat on his face. The entire exchange lasted no more than 3 seconds. Long Hantian stood dazed, feeling the lingering pain in his back, his face a mask of disbelief. Damn, I guess I can't defy age, he mused, shaking off the moment. Turning his attention to the now gleaming infantry fighting vehicle, he said, All right, enough fooling around. You asked why I came? It's to show you something impressive. Chapter 255, Kinetic Weapons, one shot for a small mountain. Considering the time, your side should be nearly complete. Long Hantian brushed off the dust from his clothes, his expression transforming back to one of excitement. He gestured towards the outside, winking at Yi Bai. I came specifically to provide you with a worthy target for today's testing. Oh, what kind of target? Yi Bai inquired with curiosity. Follow me and you'll find out. Long Hantian teased, leading Yi Bai outside. Before them lay an expansive outdoor testing ground, where a formidable behemoth loomed, exuding an air of intimidation. It was a steel giant, clad in heavy reactive armor, armed with a 125mm cannon, the 99A, the most formidable main battle tank currently in service with the Dragon Army. Wow! Even Yi Bai couldn't suppress his astonishment at the sight of this true king of the battlefield. How about that? Impressive, right? Long Hantian said with pride. This thing is worth 30 million. It's a prized asset of our unit, and if it gets damaged, repairs and recommissioning will take a long time. I pulled out all the stops just for your test. Yi Bai circled the 99A main battle tank, his eyes brimming with excitement. This was the strongest domestic tank in active service. Today, he would challenge this king of the battlefield with his personally modified infantry fighting vehicle. Commander Long, rest assured, Yi Bai said confidently, smiling. My anti-tank infantry fighting vehicle is ready and waiting for testing. With that, he gestured towards the direction of the infantry fighting vehicle. Accompanied by a low, rumbling engine roar, the transformed infantry fighting vehicle slowly emerged from the shadows of the hangar. When it was fully illuminated by the sun, even Long Hantian, accustomed to advanced weaponry, gasped in awe, utterly mesmerized. The vehicle before them bore no resemblance to its former self. Its design, sharp and futuristic, featured plasma launchers glimmering like crystals on either side of the turret, and its entire body was cloaked in a matte finish that seemed to absorb light. Everything about it suggested it was not of this era. This, what on earth? Long Hantian exclaimed, his eyes wide as he pointed at the vehicle. Why does it look just like the Prism tank from video games? This is too sci-fi. This is just the beginning, Yi Bai replied, observing Long Hantian's astonished expression with a faint smile and shaking his head. This is merely an infantry fighting vehicle. When it comes to main battle tanks, it will be something far beyond this. At this statement, Long Hantian's shock instantly transformed into heightened excitement. He envisioned a future where a torrent of steel, composed of such sci-fi vehicles, would emerge from Yi Bai's hands. All right, enough gawking. Let's see what it can do. Long Hantian rubbed his hands together, eagerly urging. The test officially begins. The first item is the mobility test. The modified infantry fighting vehicle and the 99A main battle tank stood side by side on the testing ground. At the commander's signal, both steel beasts roared to life, charging forward like arrows released from a bow. However, to Long Hantian's surprise, although the infantry fighting vehicle started off swiftly, it gradually fell behind during the later stages of acceleration, ultimately losing to the larger 99A main battle tank by a narrow margin in a straight-line race spanning 5 kilometers. Why isn't the speed faster than the 99A? Seeing the result, a hint of disappointment flickered across Long Hantian's face. In his view, what Yi Bai had created should be a comprehensive triumph. Commander Long, there's no need to rush, Yi Bai remarked, a confident smile gracing his face as he observed Long's expression. Speed and maneuverability had never been his focal points. Rather, the emphasis lay on the term anti-tank. Pointing to the devices on either side of the turret, resembling the eyes of a devil, he explained. This vehicle is equipped with 2 entirely different weapon systems. One is a kinetic weapon, specifically the electromagnetic railgun. The other comprises these 2 plasma incineration beams, categorized under laser weaponry. Allow me to demonstrate the power of the laser weapon. With that, Yi Bai issued commands through the communicator. The turret of the infantry fighting vehicle slowly rotated, aiming one of the plasma emitters at a small hill several dozen meters away. In the next instant, a visible, blazing white energy beam erupted from the emitter. There was no earth-shattering explosion, nor were there any fiery effects. The beam silently struck the distant hillside, and in a moment that left everyone in awe, the solid rock was penetrated, creating a smooth-edged, enormous hole with a diameter of 2 to 3 meters, through which the sky behind the hill was clearly visible. Gasping, Long Hantian could hardly contain his astonishment, rendered speechless by this surreal spectacle. What sort of divine weapon is this? This is merely an appetizer, Yi Bai's voice resonated once more. Although laser weapons possess formidable penetration capabilities, their effectiveness diminishes against certain specialized composite armor. Therefore, when faced with targets impervious to lasers, it is time for our kinetic weapons to demonstrate their rationale. He issued another command. This time, the long and menacing electromagnetic railgun of the battle vehicle aimed at the already breached hill. Fire. There was no thunderous roar of a shell being fired, only a faint, almost imperceptible humming sound, akin to electricity coursing through the air. Everyone watched as a blurred afterimage shot forth from the muzzle at a speed that transcended visual limits. Moments later, the hillside erupted with a deafening roar. With a cataclysmic explosion, the entire hill disintegrated as if it had been detonated from within. Countless fragments and dust were propelled skyward by an indescribably immense force, forming a small mushroom cloud. Most astonishingly, the cannon had fired in utter silence. Staring at the flattened hill, Long Hantian was utterly bewildered. He pointed at the battle vehicle, his mouth opening and closing in disbelief, ultimately managing to stammer, "This is simply incredible." Chapter 256. Did it really just launch the 99A into the air? Now, it was time for a genuine combat test. Long Hantian suppressed his astonishment. His gaze fixed intently on another 99A main battle tank parked at a distance. Bring it over. Let us use it as a target. I want to see if your creation can penetrate its frontal defenses. Commander Long, that's unnecessary. Yi Bai waved his hand dismissively, smiling as he continued. A 30 million yuan 99A destroyed just like that would be a tremendous waste. We are testing anti-tank capabilities, not merely looking for fireworks. Have someone remove a section of the frontal composite armor from that 99A and set it up as a stationary target. The effect will be the same. That makes sense. Upon hearing this, Long Hantian found the idea quite reasonable and immediately arranged for it to be done. Soon, a hefty piece of composite armor, shimmering with a blend of metallic and ceramic luster, was securely installed at the center of the firing range. This armor represented the pinnacle of modern tank defense technology. Laser weapon, prepare. At Yi Bai's command, the turret was once again aimed at the target. The blazing plasma beam shot forth silently, with everyone watching anxiously. The beam struck the center of the composite armor with pinpoint accuracy. A piercing cutting sound echoed as the armor, designed to withstand conventional armor-piercing and anti-tank rounds, melted and was pierced through by the plasma stream as if it were made of paper. In mere seconds, it was molten and created a gaping hole, with iron still flowing from its edges. Impressive. Long Hantian could not help but exclaim at the sight of the perforated armor. The greatest strength of laser weapons lies in their ability to decapitate, Yi Bai explained from the side. Their extreme heat can instantly breach armor and incinerate all crew members and delicate electronics inside the tank. This is the most efficient and precise means of inflicting damage. Kinetic weapons, on the other hand, operate on a different principle. Their function is to obliterate the entire armored shell along with its contents. Long Hantian felt a chill run down his spine. With such weapons, it was a nightmare for all armored units. If this were to be unleashed, not only main battle tanks, but even the leader's official vehicles would stand no chance. The more he contemplated, the more he was struck by the realization that the emergence of such weapons could potentially overturn the landscape of modern ground warfare. At that moment, a hearty laugh resonated from nearby. Ha! I'm late. Commander Peng strode over, flanked by a throng of guards. Commander. Long Hantian and Yi Bai immediately saluted. It's fine. Commander Peng waved his hand dismissively. His gaze had already been captivated by the sci-fi-esque battle vehicle. You arrived just in time, Yi Bai replied with a smile. What we presented earlier was merely an appetizer. Now we are about to test its most powerful kinetic weapon. He glanced at the intact 99, a main battle tank in the distance. Let us use that 99A as our target. What? Commander Peng's face displayed astonishment. He glanced between the peculiar battle vehicle and the 99A, which symbolized the highest honor of the Dragon Nation's army, incredulously asking, Are you saying this infantry fighting vehicle can penetrate the frontal armor of the 99A? Though he held great expectations for Yi Bai, he was acutely aware of the 99A's defensive capabilities. To challenge it with an infantry fighting vehicle seemed akin to throwing an egg against a stone. No, Yi Bai corrected, shaking his head. Not penetrate. It will launch it into the air. As the words left his lips, he transmitted the final firing command through the communicator. Target, 99, a main battle tank. Electromagnetic railgun, full power fire. A low, almost negligible buzzing sound emanated from the long, menacing barrel. In the next moment, under the wide-eyed gaze of Commander Peng, Long Hantian, and all the senior officers and engineers present, a scene destined to be etched in military history unfolded. The 99, a main battle tank, weighing over 50 tons and resembling a steel fortress, suddenly jolted backward after a brief moment of eerie silence. Then, astonishingly, its massive steel body was propelled off the ground. Yes, it was indeed launched into the air. The over 50-ton steel behemoth traced a parabolic arc before crashing back to the ground with a thunderous impact. Boom! Accompanied by a deafening roar. The once mighty king of land warfare disintegrated upon impact, shattering like a brittle cookie. The turret separated from the chassis, and countless components and fragments of armor erupted into the air amidst a blinding blaze and thick smoke, scattering in all directions. The entire test site fell into a profound silence, as everyone stood as if frozen in time, staring blankly at the smoldering wreckage, now unrecognizable as it burned. After what felt like an eternity, Commander Peng finally swallowed hard, his weathered face displaying an unprecedented mix of shock and exhilaration. The era of traditional main battle tanks, epitomized by the 99A, had been irrevocably declared over. Relay my orders. Commander Peng abruptly turned to Long Hantian, issuing his command with urgency. Immediately. At once. Classify all technical data of this anti-tank infantry vehicle as top secret. We must establish a new production line without hesitation. No cost is too great to achieve mass production in the shortest time possible. I want the entire Southern Theater equipped with this revolutionary weapon. Yes, Long Hantian replied, standing tall with excitement. Then, as if recalling something, he leaned closer to Commander Peng and whispered, Commander, given Yi Bai's monumental achievement, is he assured a promotion in this officer selection? Commander Peng glanced at the young man, who remained unfazed, and a smile of deep appreciation spread across his face. I cannot make a definitive decision yet, but I can assure you this. Our military will never overlook any deserving contributor. The most exceptional individuals undoubtedly merit promotion to officer rank. Hearing Peng's words, Yi Bai felt a surge of exhilaration. At such a young age, he had ascended from an ordinary individual to the brink of becoming a true officer. If this momentum continued, attaining the rank of general might truly be within reach. Chapter 257. Upgrading the Hongqi Guiwei. Upon the conclusion of the test, Commander Peng decisively ordered the acquisition of this extraordinary prototype and all its technical blueprints for the military. Long Hantian, being forthright, promptly transferred the agreed payment of 36 million yuan to Yi Bai's account. Thus, Yi Bai's personal cash reserves officially surpassed the remarkable milestone of 100 million, reaching an astonishing 126 million. With such substantial funds, Yi Bai could finally commence the next phase of his business endeavors. He summoned Sun Ling to his office. Linger, here is 100 million in cash, Yi Bai said, sliding a bank card across the desk. Take this money and head to the capital immediately. What for? Sun Ling asked, bewildered. To renovate our flagship store at Yunxiao Auto Repair. I have only one requirement for the renovation. It must be grand. The budget is ample, so make it as luxurious and technologically advanced as possible. Moreover, here is the procurement list and blueprints for the new equipment I designed earlier, he added, handing her a USB drive. Once you arrive in the capital, procure and order all the new equipment we need for the flagship store according to these specifications. This task is of utmost importance and may take several days, perhaps even longer. You will have full responsibility over there. Is that clear? No problem. I will ensure the task is completed. Sun Ling nodded earnestly. After arranging matters with Sun Ling, Yi Bai was not idle. The very next day, a sleek black Hongqi Guiwei arrived at the Yunxiao Auto Repair Factory, delivered by a designated representative from Secretary Dekong. The visitor respectfully handed over the car keys and a detailed requirements document to Yi Bai. The modification task was explicit, with only two requirements: absolute safety and maximized passenger comfort without compromising the former. To this end, a modification budget of 20 million yuan was approved. Yi Bai immersed himself in the second phase laboratory, activating the virtual simulation system to conduct a comprehensive digital modification of the Hongqi Guiwei. First, regarding comfort, zero-gravity balance seat module. Utilizing high-precision gyroscopes and magnetic levitation technology, this module creates a dynamic balance system for the seating. Regardless of the vehicle's bumps, turns, or acceleration, the seat maintains absolute levelness and stability, providing passengers with a sensation akin to walking on solid ground, even experiencing a feeling of weightlessness. Next, concerning safety, Pangu integrated titanium alloy frame module, crafted through military-grade 3D printing technology using premier titanium alloy. This module forms an entirely new vehicle frame. Its strength is sufficient to withstand direct shots from anti-material sniper rifles and even small rocket warheads. Finally, on proactive safety and intelligence, Heavenly Eye All-Domain Intelligent Driving Module, integrating high-precision satellite positioning, laser radar, millimeter wave radar, and visual sensors, it achieves L5 level fully autonomous driving. The system can anticipate all potential dangers and execute the quickest, safest evasive maneuvers. Additionally, it features an emergency avoidance mode, capable of automatically planning the optimal escape route in the event of an unavoidable attack. Having finalized all modification plans in the virtual laboratory, Yi Bai commenced the actual operations. However, with Sun Ling dispatched to the capital, the routine tasks of material ordering were left unattended. Faced with this predicament, Yi Bai turned his attention to Zhang Hongying. Hongying, come here for a moment, he called her into his office, pointing to the densely packed parts list and supplier information on the computer screen. Your sister Linger is in the capital, so you'll need to handle the ordering for the next few days. He was prepared for the challenge of teaching a novice, but to his surprise, Zhang Hongying learned remarkably quickly. We need to order TC4 titanium alloy plates with a thickness of 50 millimeters. Please check the supplier's inventory. If it's insufficient, contact the secondary supplier immediately. As Yi Bai was explaining, Zhang Hongying pointed to another line of data on the screen. Brother, while the yield strength and tensile strength of this TC4 are quite high, Its creep resistance at elevated temperatures seems average. Would it pose a safety risk if we used it for the firewall near the engine compartment? Huh. Yi Bai paused, astonished that she had noticed such intricate details. Additionally, Zhang Hongying continued, I noticed that the Panga frame you designed employs right-angle welding at the junction of the A and B pillars. From a structural mechanics perspective, wouldn't adding an arched reinforcement rib here better distribute the stress during a collision? As she spoke, she quickly sketched an improved structural diagram on a piece of scrap paper. Her thoughts clear and her logic rigorous. Yi Bai gazed at her drawing and then into her focused, bright eyes. A storm of realization surged within him. This was no ordinary insight. This was a gift, an innate sensitivity to mechanics. The subsequent modification work only confirmed Yi Bai's belief, and he discovered that Zhang Hongying possessed an astonishing amount of strength. A car tire, which would require considerable effort for an adult man to lift, she could effortlessly hoist with a single, determined effort. Moreover, during the precise welding and wiring tasks, her hands exhibited an incredible steadiness. Yi Bai was utterly amazed. His ability to achieve such feats can be attributed to the support of a sophisticated system. In contrast, Zhang Hongying's remarkable display stems from her own formidable, yet untapped, talent. It seems a re-evaluation of her training program is in order, Yi Bai mused while observing the girl, engrossed in laser welding and wearing protective goggles. 3 days later, upon the completion of the final adjustments, the brand new Hongqi Guiwei was finally upgraded. Externally, it bore no distinction from an ordinary Hongqi Guiwei. After all, Yi Bai chose to retain its original appearance, as it symbolized the nation, a prudent choice to avoid unnecessary alterations. Yet, only Yi Bai knew the immense power and reliability concealed beneath its unassuming exterior. Chapter 258, Astonishing Safety Features. The day following the modifications, Secretary De Kong personally visited the Yunshao Auto Repair Factory. Upon seeing the Hongqi Guiwei parked quietly in the center of the workshop, a look of satisfaction instantly appeared on his face. The exterior, color, and wheels were indistinguishable from when it was delivered. There was no change whatsoever. Excellent, excellent. Secretary De Kong nodded, relieved that Yi Bai had not drastically altered the car's iconic appearance. However, when he opened the car door and surveyed the interior, he was momentarily taken aback. The cabin, while maintaining its original dignified and elegant layout and color scheme, had undergone a dramatic transformation in the style of the seats. The formerly spacious leather seats had been replaced with a few independent seats that exuded futuristic technological vibes, resembling those found in a spacecraft or roller coaster. Each seat was enveloped in complex mechanical structures and metallic supports, instilling a profound sense of safety. What is this? Secretary De Kong pointed at the peculiar seats, his expression one of confusion. These are zero-gravity balance seats I designed, Yi Bai explained. Their purpose is to prevent any jostling during the vehicle's operation. I have integrated high-precision gyroscopes and magnetic levitation balance devices into this system. In simple terms, no matter how bumpy, drifting, or even rolling the vehicle may be, those seated inside will hardly feel any significant disturbance. The seats will maintain absolute level and stability. Furthermore, Yi Bai gestured towards the driver's seat. I have also equipped it with an L5 level fully autonomous driving system that can anticipate and avoid all approaching vehicles and potential hazards. After hearing Yi Bai's introduction, Secretary De Kong was both astonished and somewhat skeptical. Words alone are not enough. Let us conduct a direct test. Yi Bai, sensing his doubts, smiled and replied, very well. Soon, the group arrived at a secluded stretch of road in the suburbs, cleared for the occasion. Secretary De Kong settled into the rear zero-gravity seat and fastened his seatbelt, while Yi Bai took the passenger seat and activated the car's autonomous driving mode. The test commenced. At Yi Bai's command, a dozen sedans, driven by professional drivers and lying in wait along the roadside, came barreling towards the steadily moving Hongqi Guiwei, as if in a cinematic frenzy. The roar of engines echoed throughout the stretch. Seated inside, Secretary De Kong felt his heart leap to his throat at the sight of this Hollywood-like spectacle. However, what transpired next utterly shattered his preconceived notions. The steering wheel of the Hongqi Guiwei began to spin at an astonishingly high frequency, without any human intervention. As a car approached from the left front, the Hongqi Guiwei executed a minuscule yet precise rightward maneuver mere milliseconds in advance, narrowly avoiding collision by mere millimeters. Then, two vehicles bore down from the right rear. The Hongqi Guiwei seemed to possess a sixth sense, accelerating just before the imminent crash, followed by a sudden stop. Utilizing a remarkable time differential, it darted through the gap between the two vehicles. Throughout the entire process, the Hongqi Guiwei's body accelerated, halted abruptly, drifted, and swerved. Yet, aside from an initial scare, Secretary Dekong felt no violent jolts or bumps whatsoever. The seat he occupied seemed almost alive, consistently adjusting its position and angle just before he might be thrown, dissipating all centrifugal force seamlessly. The entire test lasted a full 5 minutes. Once the dust settled, the dozen sedans lay in disarray, some collided, others veered off the road, while the black Hongqi Guiwei remained serenely stationed at the center of the road, utterly unscathed. Not even a scratch in sight. Now this is truly high-tech. Secretary Dekong rose from the zero-gravity seat, stretching his limbs, his face a canvas of incredulous delight. During those 5 minutes, he had witnessed the chaotic collisions outside, yet his body remained as stable as a mountain. Not even a drop of water spilled from his cup. Such an experience was simply extraordinary. Intelligent driving and comfort have both been tested, Yi Bai remarked, observing Secretary Dekong's satisfied expression. Next, we must evaluate its hardiness. With a snap of his fingers, a heavy-duty truck, reinforced at the front and emblazoned with a no overloading warning, slowly rolled into the testing area, a veritable king of the road. Let it crash into us at 80 kilometers per hour, Yi Bai instructed over the intercom. What? Secretary Dekong gasped, taken aback. Crash directly? Is that feasible? Have no worries, Secretary Dekong, Yi Bai replied confidently, smiling. Boom. The engine of the heavy-duty truck roared to life as it charged towards the stationary Hongqi Guiwei with ferocity. All eyes were glued to the two vehicles as they collided. Bang! The deafening sound of metal colliding reverberated through the air. Yet, the anticipated scene of the Hongqi Guiwei being utterly obliterated did not materialize. Instead, the truck's front end crumpled upon contact with the Hongqi Guiwei, its heavy bumper caving in and the entire front end suffering severe deformation. In stark contrast, the Hongqi Guiwei merely shifted slightly backward, less than half a meter, before coming to a steady stop, only a minor paint scrape visible on its side. Remarkably, there were no signs of denting whatsoever. How is this possible? Secretary Dekong gaped at the scene before him, utterly defying the laws of physics. But the demonstration was not yet complete. Yi Bai gestured to the security personnel, who were already on standby. Several armed guards advanced, wielding their standard-issue 95 automatic rifles, and began firing at the doors and windows. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat. The sharp sounds of gunfire erupted. A torrential downpour of bullets unleashed upon the body and glass of the Hongqi Guiwei. Clang, clang. The bullets collided with the vehicle, sending sparks flying. Yet those rounds, capable of penetrating ordinary steel, ricocheted off the car's body and windows without exception. After an entire magazine was expended, the Hongqi Guiwei bore only a few faint white marks from the bullets. Its durability was off the charts. Excellent. Truly remarkable. Secretary Dekong gazed at the formidable Hongqi Guiwei, excitement surging within him as he emphatically slapped his thigh. This vehicle, designed to ensure the safety of leaders, was indeed the most fitting choice. Chapter 259, System Upgrade Progress at 910. With the testing concluded, Secretary Dekong was immensely satisfied with the performance of this Hongqi Guiwei. He promptly decided to finalize the purchase and willingly settled the remaining payment. Comrade Yi Bai, you have truly accomplished a significant feat this time. Secretary Dekong grasped Yi Bai's hand tightly, his eyes filled with unprecedented solemnity. To be frank, we did not harbor high expectations for this modification prior to our arrival. After all, it diverged from the direction of your previous vehicle modifications. Yet, the results you delivered far exceeded our collective imagination. He paused, lowering his voice and adopting an exceedingly grave tone. Therefore, after careful consideration from above, we have resolved to entrust you with an even more important and challenging task. As he spoke, he handed Yi Bai an encrypted tablet. This is the preliminary demand for the next order. Upon receiving the tablet and unlocking it, Yi Bai was immediately presented with a rendering of a vehicle. It was a sturdier, militaristic special armored Hongqi vehicle. In the section detailing the vehicle's specifications and modification requirements, Yi Bai's eyes widened at several keywords that nearly made his jaw drop. The vehicle must integrate a high-security mobile command system, ensure the absolute safety of the final counter-strike command module, and construct an all-weather, all-frequency, interference-resistant wartime information hub. Although the document was devoid of any sensitive vocabulary, employing only code names and technical jargon, Yi Bai understood the vehicle's true purpose the instant he saw the phrase final counter-strike. A nuclear launch button within the vehicle? This was simply exhilarating. The initial price for this order was set at 100 million. Secretary Dekong's voice jolted Yi Bai from his astonishment. There is but one requirement. Its security level must surpass that of today's Hongqi Guiwei by several magnitudes. At any cost, I understand. Yi Bai nodded emphatically, fully aware of the weight of this task. Here is a deposit of 30 million. Please accept it. Secretary De Kong transferred a substantial sum to Yi Bai. With business matters concluded, the atmosphere lightened slightly. Secretary De Kong took a sip of water, seemingly recalling something, and then smiled, saying, "Actually, I came here today not only to inspect the vehicle and place an order, but also to request your assistance with a personal matter." "Oh, please, go ahead." Secretary De Kong. Yi Bai inquired, intrigued. What could prompt this individual to personally seek help? After all, his status could resolve 99% of personal matters. Secretary